That is how you start the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Saturday night stream. I just realized that I did not post in Discord yet, and I have now rectified that oversight, and so it is now in Discord, so people will be able to see it there too. Welcome, everybody, to day 25 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored, as always, by Alligator Alley Entertainment, what we're calling Shadows in Twilight, as we continue the party's journey through Celis. Very excited for tonight. Normally I was going to say I would be partially occupied by looking at the game, and I'll probably still be doing that. However, a funny thing kind of happened in the green room beforehand, which is I thought that the game with the Huskies tonight, who are playing in the Elite Eight, actually the men and the women are playing. Men play first, and the women, if the men win, they go to the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. And so I thought it started at 7:30 Eastern, not 6:30 Eastern. So Toya was like, "Wait a minute, no, it already started a while ago," and said, "And the UConn's leading by 5 at the half." So I clicked over and I've been watching the score. UConn then scored the next 25 points in the second half, and Illinois just got their first bucket 8 minutes into the second half. So UConn is now leading 29 points. And the reason I mention this is that UConn has been obliterating people all the way through. And so even though it was a nice spring day today and it's a little bit too warm in my office to be wearing my Huskies hoodie, I have to wear it, y'all. I have to wear it because it's the only way that we can ensure that in accordance with the prophecy that UConn does what it needs to do. So anyway, that was a much longer explanation than any of you needed. Regardless, I hope everyone's doing well, and I am very excited for tonight's session with Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. Before I introduce those lovely folks, just a couple of quick reminders about ways to support us on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow us on the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, and I am happy to say that the problems that we had last time have been resolved, and so we now do have the correct title in place. I was able to adjust the title for live streaming. That was just some weird snafu or glitch, but it's now been fixed. So that's all good, and so now it is the proper title. So if you're over watching me live on YouTube, welcome. Please sub there. Please come over to the Twitch channel and join us here as well as we are hanging out watching this awesome tabletop campaign unfold. !ArvCord is the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. !Arv's tweets, that is the Twitter. You can follow me there. I will always post when we're going live. !ArvSky is the Blue Sky channel where you can also follow me. I will also post when I go live there. Website arvaneleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop is the merchandise area. !ArvTrayon is the Patreon, which really is the financial backbone of the channel. I really do get a lot of support from that. So if you're able to do that so we can bring you more of these awesome videos and music and things like that, that would be lovely. We'd really appreciate that if you could support us there. And also subbing to the channel, I should mention, is also appreciated. Please do that. That gives you those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch as well. On the publishing front, !Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library, Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And, of course, Greyshade. Greyshade is my Grey Assassin trilogy IP. First 2 books, Greyshade and Renegade, are already out, critically acclaimed, award-winning. You can get those right now at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade done by our very own Trent Sparks at that link, all of that from Athos Arts. You can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade from Alligator Alley Entertainment and the incredible designing mind of Brandon O'Brien. That will be out at the end of this year. And you can also pre-order Heretic, which is the final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy, which is now in beta reads and copy edits, and that will be out in the summer of this year. That as well, edited by the amazing Emily Bell, and that is, of course, from the amazing Athos Arts. So you should definitely check that out as well. Last but certainly not least, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And !Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message that we will do so for others in the future as well. Last thing that I want to mention very quickly is this is the last stream for us of March. April looks to be very busy and very awesome. I'm super excited about it, but I'm going to be posting more about that tomorrow. I've got some more grading to finish, but I'm close. I'm going to be doing some other stuff, a couple of like odds and ends, finishing up some grading I have to do tomorrow, and then I will be doing all of the schedule for April, thanks to the amazing Triffity Mats, who has done most of it, has set it up already, so I'm just going to get to move it over to my calendar, which is really nice. And then the Patreon video and all that stuff. So I will have that ready to go by the time we get into April, but we should have some Expedition sessions, some Eberron sessions. We should have some Beowulf sessions with Tari. We should have the Gamebook illustration stream. We should have, of course, the tabletop stuff over on GOGCom's Twitch channel. And there's going to be an announcement coming this coming month in April about that as well. Plus more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month, and so on. It's going to be great, and I can't wait for it, and I hope you'll all be with me for that as well. Now, with all that said, I'm going to unmute myself and apologize to whoever I interrupted because I could not hear them speaking. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal the incredible full crew 2 weeks in a row, all the players. Like, I mean,
it's a miracle.
This is what happens. I just need to schedule more sessions with fungi. I need to have like more fungal horror, creatures. And then you're like, hey, listen, I'm there for that.
You said mushrooms, and we were like, all right.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, no, inaccurate. But
no Last of Us episodes, please.
Oh yeah,
yes, Last of Us episodes, please.
Yeah, no. I know exactly, Hillness.
No.
Hillness is like all the players 2 weeks in a row, let alone 2 sessions in a row. I know, it's amazing. We're all together, which is lovely. I'm going to introduce these folks so we can get rolling. I will start with the amazing person at the top left who does not want Last of Us stuff. And that, of course, I'm the same way. Not because it's bad. It's great stuff. It's just horror, and I don't do horror. So I'm down on that front with Johnny. But that said, top left is the amazing Johnny Pippin. It is good to see you, Johnny. How's life in the universe with you, sir? How you doing? And who are you playing in our little soiree this evening?
Okay, sorry. You lagged out in the middle of that intro, and ever since the rest of my setup has just gone kind of haywire on me. But I'm doing okay otherwise. I mean, I'm here. It's not mushrooms, at least.
Not yet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Since we last talked, I've been to New York and back. I've moved my kid into a new place without pests, which is great. Discovered some really great empanadas in the Inwood neighborhood, and oh my god, they were to die for. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I'm good. I'm playing Titus Littlefoot, I was going to say an Ashen Forge Melder, but that's not who I'm playing. I'm playing a Zach Engineer, and I'm here to stay.
Outstanding. I am excited to have the return of Titus this evening. Always a pleasure to have Johnny with us. Also a pleasure to have Toya Kristen Finley with us again. And again, many thanks to Toya for reminding me that the Yukon game was on as we spoke and not, having started earlier. And obviously, Toya, what this means is that next year, if all goes well, I'm going to have to be like, Toya, would you mind just calling me randomly and being like, hey, just so you know, the game started already. Like, we just need to make sure we maintain the consistent approach.
That sounds like a great friendship.
Yeah. That's listen, that's the kind of friendship. No. But anyway, no, it's good to see Toya. How are you, Toya? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing this evening?
I've been here since the last time we talked, and things are great in the universe. I tonight will be playing Nalik, also known as Nal's Darkly, a human bard, and I am interested in finding out what this fungus is all about.
Yes, we're going to find out what this fungus or funk us we were talking about. I'm excited to see how the party handles this in just a little bit. Always a pleasure to have Toya with us, and also a pleasure to have Kat with us. Kat Rambo, of course, is back, and we were talking about we were talking about particular kinds of foods that are perhaps troubling in terms of like the amount of powdered sugar and things like that they possess. And so there was a very funny image that Kat had about what happens if you wear a black shirt and also eat this food. It was funny, and you needed to be there, but I just thought I'd bring it all to you out in the front.
All good.
It's a pleasure to have Kat with us. How are you, Kat? How's life with you, and who are you playing today?
It's going really well. I'm excited because next week I'm going to go see the eclipse, and I think that will be fun. And then I'm going to go spend a few days in New York City, which is always exciting. And I am playing tonight Fob, a lizard folk rogue with a great many knives and a penchant for hiding.
Outstanding. Very excited to see how Fob may have, I think there may be need for blades, although as we said last time, maybe not teeth. I don't know if you want to bite this fungus, but we'll see. But in any case, always a pleasure to have Kat with us. Last but certainly not least, always a pleasure to have the amazing Zach Clay with us as well. It's good to see you, Zach, my friend. How are you? How's life in the universe on the left coast? And who are you playing this evening?
Life in the universe in the Bay Area is as it always is. I love where I live. The weather is incredibly variable, and that's what I love about it. Yesterday it was pouring rain, and then today it is sunshine, blue clouds, picturesque. And I would have it no other way. And then tomorrow it's probably going to be foggy. Like you just cycle through all of it over and over.
Yep.
So yeah, stuff is great over here. I get to run D&D for students, for kids tomorrow in San Francisco, so that's great. And I'm excited to play some D&D today. So here I am playing Dr. Duraxis, a Dendis cybermancer. I had to check. Yep, that is what I am. Who has telepathy. Let's please not forget this time.
Yes, let's please.
Yes, all noted. I know. It was very important that we actually got that right this time.
Yes.
That we know ahead of time. Very exciting. And yes, with no further ado, let's talk about what happened last time. And let me move over to the map to speak a little bit about what we discussed. I'm not going to start the music yet because when the music begins, it will be combat-oriented, people.
Yes, sir.
At the beginning of our last session, the party has been tracking down the disappearance of many of the citizens of Celis. Partly, of course, this is because the party are good people and want to help, but also it's because they won't get any help from these people until they solve this problem. And the issue seems to be that these people all seem to be centered around those who are interested in becoming spirit callers, who have this spiritual connection to a realm beyond the realm of Celis where the Twilight Elves live. At least that's the theory. But why indeed this is focused on those who went for this spirit calling has been unclear until the party managed to do some extra deductive work in our last session. They began by looking at Nihilestri, one of the people who has been taken, Nihilestri's home. They went in and found a couple of unusual things. First of all, the lock on the door had clearly been changed recently, and that seemed odd. And the place itself seemed more or less to be an artist's garret, but there were two things of note that stood out. One, a hidden silver statuette that was discovered by Fob while descending the bed after having checked out this bed, and this silver statuette was to a particular goddess that was notable because it is a similar goddess to what might have been found with the spirit callers. But also there was a letter that was inviting the recipient to this initiation ceremony for the spirit callers being held at the Dew Dreams Wine Garden. And if you look on your map up there, chat, on the top left here, you will be able to see, there we go, you'll be able to see here on the top left that we are actually at this Dew Dreams Wine Garden now. And it had happened about 10 days ago, which is roughly speaking when Nihilestri had vanished. The party decided after a little bit of consideration and some searching around that it made sense to go there since they had heard other, rumors of this, and they thought that it made sense given how close they were to go to that place first. But on the way, they found themselves not to be alone. They were encountered by a mysterious cloaked figure who wanted to know what they were doing and why they were doing these searches. And the party, having had a couple of run-ins with mysterious cloaked figures of late, were kind of like, hey, wait a minute, who the hell are you? So there was a little bit of a back and forth there until finally the person, thanks to some persuasion on the part of of Null's, I want to say. I think it was. But it was able to persuade the cloaked figure to reveal herself to be Mavra Whisperwind, the elder sister of Elu Whisperwind, who has been estranged from the family. And apparently the reason that she has been estranged is that she, as herself a spirit caller and shaman, has been doing her own investigation of these missing people from Celis and wanted to make sure that the party had its right intentions. Having been convinced of same, Mavra agreed to accompany them to Do Dreams, where they ended up finding, once they came there, that there were preparations for a ceremony that is going to be had tomorrow involving the spirit callers, and also were able to talk to the dryad owner of Do Dreams named Glimmerleaf, who, after a little bit of persuasion, was revealed the fact that she remembered specifically the Nihilestra having been at this initiation ceremony, and she remembered also that the spirit callers were given the initiates were given a particular kind of wine, and because Glimmerleaf happens to be a collector, she kept a bottle of this special wine, which only the initiates apparently drank from. Obviously, the party's curiosity was piqued. They went down to the basement to this special place, because the reason that she could not find this in the first place, or could not get it for them, was that this strange fungal growth had grown around the bottle and around the wine rack where it was being kept. And so she asked, could the party be so kind as to clear out this fungus? The party agreed to do so, went down to the basement, had the door unlocked for them, and when they walked in, revealed this horrific creature that had itself, my apologies to Johnny, multiple mushrooms growing out of it, this what we would only describe as a fungal horror, and behind it, two violet purple squat mushroom-like figures on the ground behind this creature. It roared in anger at them, and that was where we brought our session to a close. I will simply mention, before I actually allow the party to move into this combat, that it's also important to note that some suspicion, according to the party anyway, has begun to light on a woman named Ostrika, who is the head of the spirit caller initiation processes. She's the one who runs the spirit callers basically in Celis, and so the party is also interested in speaking to her, and maybe finding out about this ceremony. At least that's what the party said. But that all depends on whether they can beat down a unfortunate mushroom. And that is what we're going to have now. So I'm going to fire up a little bit of combat music here, and I'm going to ask the party to be so kind as to do something we like to call rolling initiative for me, please. Let's get some combat music going on here. Hold on, just finding the Yukon Huskies fight music. Just kidding, I'm not going to do that. I would never. There we go.
Wow.
Okay, what do we got?
We got, in different order, but 13, 14, 15, 16.
We're
13,
doing
14,
pretty
15,
well.
16. Okay.
Go on.
All right. All right, let's see. Right, okay, so let's see.
Which actually, yeah, and this is perfect because Nalik, your strategy is best employed if you go first, and you are.
Yeah.
So, best of luck.
Okay. Let's see. We're gonna put. Also, as I'm working this out, two quick questions, Titus. First of all, to you, your bolster has long since passed, yes, or is it still running for more hours? I just want to make sure I know whether the bolster on people is still there.
Let me take a look at that real quick. One second.
All right.
It was 8 hours.
Yeah.
When did you cast it?
Yeah, 8 hours. That was, I think, the previous day.
That's what I thought too, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the bolster is
because
not
we've
there.
already been back to the. We've been back to the Whisperwind Manor and then back out adventuring again since that was cast.
Okay, so then go ahead.
Did you cast it when we were ambushed by the assassins next to the troop?
No,
area?
it was cast
before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then I don't even remember It was probably the previous day.
Okay.
I guess.
So then in that case, I'm going to say that that is no longer functional. So that means...
I mean, I don't have extra health, so...
Yeah, okay. Right, so that means that... so just to be clear, so Nals, you're still sitting at 31 out of 31 then, is that right?
I have 36 out of 36.
No, but that's bolstered though.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about the bolster.
Yeah, if you click it, Toya, you'll see that your max HP modifier is still increased. That's the bolster that we need to get rid of.
And while I'm on this subject, Zach, are you still... Sorry, Jaraxxus, I should say in this case. Are you still sitting with 6 temp?
Yeah.
Or not?
I think I think the assumption is that I have that false life innervate thing, and it's a roll of 1d4 plus 4. And so the average roll would be 2 plus 4 is 6. And so because I can just do it at will, the assumption has been that I just have...
You're just doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But...
Great.
Okay. Let's go with... Okay.
Hey, Greg, can I get a clarification too?
Certainly.
We're still at level 4, right? We haven't leveled yet or anything, right? We're still at 4. Are you sure?
You're still level 4. You're still level 4. But boy, when that level gets to level 5, what a great thing it's going to be. Listen, part of the reason for this is that you've all been very awesomely, role-playingly, and carefully doing a little bit of mystery determination. But that means it's been a little slower paced in terms of your moving through things. So, and I love that, but, yes, but fear not, though. There is more excitement ahead when you get that.
It's funny.
Okay. One quick note as well, which is just as a quick, I don't have a map for this, unfortunately, because I don't have a fungal-covered wine cellar. But for this, one thing I want to mention is that this is not a particularly big space. This area down here that you're going to be fighting in the cellar is this 40-foot square room. And this creature, the fungal horror, fills it's well over 7 feet. Like, it's basically this big thing that takes up more or less a square itself. It's probably like 5 feet wide also. Like, it's a big creature. The violet fungi behind it are fairly small by comparison. But you also have your dire wolf, you have Gamork in there, and you also have Mavra with you. So you'll need to think a little bit about that. Obviously, Mavra and Gamork are going to make their own decisions about what they want to do, but you can also yell, hold back, go forward. You can make suggestions if you want them to, based upon your own amount of room that you have. So that's just something to consider, I would say. With that said, though, I'm going to get us underway, and before I bring it to the party, I have to bring it to Gamork, because actually Gamork is the first to go. So Gamork is behind all of you. Now, you can let Gamork pass. The question is, do you want Gamork, running in and at, or are you going to sort of yell anything to Gamork or allow him to freelance?
So, I don't want Gamork to rush in just yet, because we don't know what we are dealing with.
Okay.
So, I would want him to kind of, how to put this, be ready for action, but not spring into action.
Okay. So here's my question. Because you have to do this in a very short period of time, because it's not technically your turn, Niles, as you're going through this. Do you want to sort of kind of reach out and kind of go, because kind of hold up your hand, because you're the first of your party to go, although you don't know yet if another enemy is going to go first. But do you want to sort of hold up a hand, shout out that command generally, obviously, hopefully in the universal sign of hold up, and so that Gamork gets it? You let me know, but it's got to be something quick. It can't be a long command or anything.
So what Nals will do is, raise out her hand, the hold symbol, but steady, easy.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so Gamork, behind you, you hear kind of a but apparently Gamork will wait. Probably not much longer than after you to go. This is not. I'm thinking of Aslan and Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. It's not a tame lion, so it's not a tame wolf, right? But Gamork at least will stand down for a moment. Unfortunately, the next one to go is the fungal horror, and
Oh, boy.
so the fungal horror also is this so strange looking creature. In fact, I know I had a picture, but let me give you all in chat as well a picture, as you can see what this awesome, I mean terrible, deadly creature looks like. Okay.
Beautiful,
All right.
wonderful, terrible, deadly.
And deadly, yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to put this up on the stream so that people can see this. Coming up here. Okay. Right. All right. Coming up right here. I swear, if I can get through the 70 million folders I have. Okay. There we go. So there we go.
Is.
Lovely creature. You can see nice mushrooms sprouting out of its top. Ignore the person that seems to be buried in the shambling mound. I'm sure that's not foreshadowing at all.
Yeah.
So that creature comes towards you, and as it does, you hear this awful, like as it's moving towards you, and you can even see with every step it takes a little bit of what look like at first clouds of dust, and then you realize are clouds of spores that are coming up with every step that it takes as it walks towards you. And it moves at a surprising pace. It moves about 20 feet forward. And then you're all standing, several of you are just inside the door. And it is then going to reach out, and you can see that it has this weird sort of like vine thing on the end of its hand, and it reaches towards the front of you. Now, I have a question because we didn't establish this when you first came down, which is who is in the front? And
I know Nulls is not. Nulls stayed back.
I think it was Draxus. However, if the chamber is like a 40-foot square, then we would have enough room. Could we like Scooby-Doo stand side by side and
yes,
like
for
facing
sure,
them?
for sure.
Okay.
And I would
So
allow
when
you to have walked in to do that. If you want to do that, then I mean it's up to you. Basically, if one of you wants to stand forward, I'll have the creature attack that. Otherwise, it's going to be at random.
Draxus will. He'll be like one square forward, and then
everyone else behind.
is-
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Draxus. So this thing, this vine comes out towards you and attempts to slam into your body. Okay, let's see. We are looking at first one is a 15.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes 2 attacks. So first one is a 15. Second one is a 16.
Yep. Go for it.
Okay. So first of all,
Oh god.
yeah, this is okay. So you are going to take 14 points of damage. So 8 slam. And it's a slam.
Sir.
So 8 of all the temp is gone. All the temp is
Okay.
gone. And the skies are gray. Okay, and then you are
And then I
going to
take
take 8. So you've got 13. That's the
Okay.
good news. The bad news is that you are then... Remember that I said, that it wasn't foreshadowing?
no.
That you were... So you are
Yeah.
now engulfed by this thing. And what this means for you, Draxus, is you are pulled inside it is you are blinded, restrained, and unable to breathe at the moment. So you are going to be able to try to make, you're going to have to make con saving throws and so on. And others can try to do stuff to like, well, first kill it, get Draxus out of it or something. But Draxus is like inside this thing at the moment. Blinded, restrained, and unable to breathe sounds like a bad band name. Well, it's funny because we were talking about bad band names before. Okay, so it does that, and it's now standing basically about 10 feet from all of you, with Jaraxxus now inside it. Okay.
Awesome.
Now, there is a little bit of extra good news, however, which is actual good news, which is that Mavra is with you. And so she steps forward, and she traces several sort of symbols in the air, and she sort of lifts her hand, and all of you are under the effects of a bless spell. So, in case anyone's curious, what a bless spell means is that now, and the three, actually, I should say the three that she can see. So sadly, not you, Jaraxxus, because she can't see you. But Titus, Nulls, and Fob, you are all blessed, which means whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw, you can add an additional D4 and add that number to the attack roll or the saving throw. Also, I misspoke. I forgot that she's casting this at a higher level. So it does actually hit Jaraxxus. So you do have that also. So all four of you have been blessed. Now, that's concentration for a minute. If she gets hit, who knows whether she'll hold on to it. But for the moment, all of these rolls going forward are going to have that effect. So that may be of some benefit. She steps to the side because she doesn't want to get hit and lose what she just cast. And that's going to lead us now to Nulls. Nulls, not a good opening for your team.
So I don't know what type of damage this thing does. So
that damage that it just did was
bludgeoning.
Yeah, the damage that it just did was bludgeoning. Yes, bludgeoning.
Okay,
damage. Yep.
So I can cast Blade Ward to protect myself from that type of damage, right?
I believe that would be the case, unless is Blade Ward just slashing and piercing, or can it also be bludgeoning?
I don't know, and honestly, the way D&D Beyond works, I have a hard time actually finding the description of these spells without clicking on something and casting the spell.
That's okay. Just give me a second. I'll find it. It is bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Yes. Okay. So yes, that you will have resistance now against those attacks until your next turn, until the end of your next turn, actually.
So. I almost kind of want to have everybody go behind the cellar door, close it, and then kind of regroup, come up with like a plan for attacking this thing, but I don't think we have
I'm sorry to interrupt, Toya. I just realized I'm sorry, I misspoke. This creature is a fungal horror and it's a little bit different. It does necrotic damage, not bludgeoning damage. My apologies. So actually your Blade Ward would not help you against that.
It wouldn't help at all.
No.
So I kind of want to gather everybody, like, close the cellar door, like, get out of there as fast as possible, and, like, kind of come up with some kind of a plan, because it's, absorbing people. And I don't know how much Mavra understands about what we're dealing with. If that makes any sense.
But it does have one of us absorbed right now, right?
Right, it does. And I don't want that to keep happening. And I feel like we are, well, I mean, we're at a extreme disadvantage anyway. And it's got two little creatures with it, and it's got Jaraxxus and somebody else, at least somebody else. And we don't have time to like investigate it or that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to do, is retreat behind this little door and close it. But I don't know what everybody else thinks of that.
I see the pros of that, but I believe it would be leaving our excellent doctor still enveloped by this creature, and I think we should probably get him out as fast as possible.
Well, see, my thing is, I want to get him out, and that's what I want to talk about behind the door.
Well, it's just your turn. So what's the leak gonna do?
Which is literally the case with Jaraxxus, who sees nothing.
Yeah,
You think you see one of his tentacles, like among all of the other
Yeah.
things tentacles? Like, is that it?
So, Null's kind of says, are we going to retreat for a second and talk this over behind the door so we can get Jaraxxus out of there, or are we just going to keep flailing away at this thing?
I mean, people can respond quickly. You don't have time for a long conversation, but someone could say like, yeah, no, yay, nay.
Jaraxxus goes, ah!
Yeah, I mean, Mavra says, but he's in it right now, she says.
Do you know how this thing works, Mavra?
How it works? No, but I know that he won't survive in there long.
I think we need to stick here and move fast. We're not known for quick decision making.
I don't know. I can't. There are certain spells I can't do because I'm going to hurt everybody else. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, and I have 2 slots left for my first level spells and 2 for my second level, so I have to see what works first.
Okay.
I am going to try Vicious Mockery and then move back.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
And it's an awesome 1. So that's not going to do much. Oh, but I'm blessed.
Well, so that 1 is just the damage. The creature actually needs to make a save.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
So, give me just a second now. I want to make sure.
Wait. And yeah, really, could it really be 1? Oh yeah, 1d4.
Okay. So needs to make a. I mean, clearly this is a wise fungus. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, it's the wisest.
Is the
That's why I
wisest
chose
of
to
all.
Eat me.
Of
It's a
all
wise
fungi.
move.
Seemed like a fun guy. All right. Okay. Wow. It critically succeeds at its thing. It's just like, apparently it's enjoying its meal and has no interest in your Vicious Mockery, Knowles.
All right. Well, I also step back after that.
Okay. All right. That's going to lead us to, now at this point, Gamork has apparently had enough, and Gamork is going to go after you. So Gamork runs into the room, and Gamork sort of like skids to a halt, and as if he's like clearing something from his nose. Hey, Tim Coolish. Clears something from his nose, and like, probably the stench of the spores and whatever else. And then backs up and looks and just sort of sees like one of Jaraxxus's hands coming out of the, out of the thing, and then sort of backs up and looks over his shoulder at all of you, and then growls and leaps directly at the creature's neck, to the extent that there is one, and is going to attempt to attack the thing directly. Oh yeah, and is going to absolutely. Apparently, Gamork has had enough. Okay, takes a big chunk out of this creature. And Jaraxxus, inside this thing, you can feel this horrible squishing sensation, like spasms of, you don't know if it's pain or just reactions to whatever has just happened. But Gamork's now jaws are locked onto the thing, like onto its vines. And you can see, well, you can't see, but the others can see that the vines of this creature are swirling around trying to engulf Gamork, but not able to do it. You wonder if maybe it can only engulf one thing at a time, and so it can't do it with Gamork. But anyway, Gamork is attached and does not seem to be letting go, which leads us, Fob, to you. Now, that does mean you're like, well, now I have a wolf hanging from it, but it definitely is like, it took a big chunk out of it just now.
Fob will not be outdone by a wolf, and will. I'm going to shoot it with my short bow.
Okay. I really thought for a minute you were going to grab onto it, also biting. So we have a wolf and a lizard.
No, because I'm worried. I'm worried about how it tastes.
Yes.
Agree.
Agree.
I'm really not convinced it's nice.
Agree. Gamork is a spoil spore. Very nice. Trevor.
11.
Very, very nice.
Is it 11?
Let's see. An 11.
Oh, plus 1d4.
Yeah, that's right, actually. Thank you for the
Awesome.
thank you for remembering.
Plus another 1, so
Yeah,
12.
that's not going to be enough. And in fact, what happens is it just sort of bounces off of its sort of very thick, vine covering and drops to the ground. So you're not going to miss it, but you definitely did not do it. You think you could probably do some damage to it, but this was not it.
All right.
So yeah.
I am, as a bonus action, I am taking steady aim,
Okay.
which will give me advantage on my next attack roll.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. That is going to lead us to Jaraxxus. Now, Jaraxxus, you have been blinded, restrained, and breathed. So I need you to... oh, no, you don't have to make... Okay. So you don't have to make this saving throw. On the Mound's turn, you're going to have to make... On the Fungal Horror's turn, you're going to have to make a saving throw. But... you can try to now. What you can do is this is a multi-step process.
Great.
You can try to pull yourself free enough that you could at least breathe. That you can do that. You could, if you have some other theory or an idea that you're like, what if I use this grenade to blow myself up with it, or whatever. I'm willing to entertain ideas, but you can try to use. It would be strength here to try to break free enough that you could at least breathe. That's an option available to you, but it's up to you. Other than that, there's not a lot you can do.
Okay. So I can try to break enough to breathe, but there's no shot that I can try to break free totally.
Not in this turn. If you're able to break free enough to breathe, you may be able to further break the next turn.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I think... And is this now... no, I have a feeling I know what that is. All right. I think my best choice would be to... Yeah, okay. I think I'm just gonna cast Innervate again. I'm gonna hope that my, all of my kit for dealing with stuff like this is at range, and so I'm gonna hope that my friends can make some progress towards getting me out over the next turn. But if it starts to get dire, then I'll change plans. Okay. So I'm gonna cast Innervate again,
and you can do that because you're not incapacitated. So
yeah. Okay, great. And and there, even if there was stuff I wanted to cast, I'm blinded anyway, so that doesn't help with stuff that says you must see the creature.
That's right.
Or
something. Honestly, in that scenario, I would allow that.
That's
you
true.
can't see it. You sure feel it.
That's all I can see. Yeah.
This is what it's like being swallowed.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna cast Innervate. This sort of Esper Genesis style Esper Shield of Sorium kind of comes over me again, and Jaraxxus says, "Please help!" And I gain 6 back, 6 temp.
6 temp returns. Okay.
6 temp returns. That's my action. I can't. I will. Yeah, I'll cast Symbiont Mark on it as. Oh, actually, no, I can't. Those are both leveled spells. Okay, no, that's my turn.
Okay, so you're so you did that. You did the Innervate instead of the trying to break free.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
got it. Okay, that's going to lead us to Titus. Titus, the only ones that haven't gone besides you are the violet fungi, but you may have a bigger problem, which is this big thing in front of you that has your friend.
Okay, so let me see if I understand the scene correctly.
Yep.
This thing has absorbed Jaraxxus in some way.
That's correct. Inside its body.
It's inside its body. Gamork has aggressively gone in and attacked. Where is Gamork? Is he still holding on to?
He's hanging off of its body. That's exactly right.
Where is he hanging off the fungal body? Is it clear that he's near like Jaraxxus or
That
or
you
what?
can't tell. It's he's hanging on. I mean, you can tell where he's hanging on to. He's hanging on to the neck area, the front. If I were to, put up on stream a wolf and then move him vertical and like hang him off like underneath the mouth of that thing, that's basically where he'd be hanging. Whether that's near Jaraxxus is unclear because Jaraxxus was absorbed inside it. You do occasionally see like a little spot of blue, or like a little tentacle or type of thing. Like you see little bits of Jaraxxus moving here and there. So it's not way far away from Jaraxxus. Gamork isn't, because it's this is only so big a creature, but you don't know for sure if it's right next to him or not.
Okay. Well, crap.
The creature's big enough that you could hit it, by the way, without having to worry about Gamork, you think. Unless it's something like it damages all creatures in a whatever, then obviously that's a problem. But
Well, I'm not necessarily just worried about Gamork. I'm worried about Jaraxxus, and I'm also worried about we're aware that there is something else or somebody else in there with Jaraxxus at this point.
Besides Jaraxxus?
Yeah, you said that there was some vague shape of another
No, I meant
creature.
Jaraxxus is what I meant by that. No, you don't see any
Okay.
other vague shape other than Jaraxxus. Oh yeah.
And the other two little creatures haven't moved yet?
That's correct.
All right. Well, let's just go full on. Titus is going to move, where he's got a clear shot, making sure he does not have. He's not going to try and hit Gamork as he takes this shot, and he's going to use a laser blast.
Okay. All right.
Let me go ahead and
Let's
roll.
see what happens.
And then another 1d4 on top of that.
Yep.
16.
Against the fungal horror, yes.
Yes, against the large fungal horror.
That will hit. Also, what kind of damage are we talking about from this laser blast?
We are talking radiant damage.
Excellent.
Laser
Lovely.
damage.
Okay. All right. Ooh.
Whoa.
There you go.
Very nice. 16 points. Okay. So yes, that burns into it. And again, there is this like Jaraxxus, you can feel yourself being squeezed by this creature again. And it definitely took all of that. It was not immune to that damage at all, Titus. So you can see it's sort of one of the vines in its arm sort of recoils as it's struck by this. There's this strange, when the laser blast hits, you have this strange experience of watching Gamork's face lit by the light for just a moment as it's like, holding on to the thing. So good stuff, Titus. Are you moving anywhere, or are you staying where you are inside this room?
I am staying inside this room.
Okay. All right. So last to go are these violet fungi creatures, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't have a picture for you all of those violet fungi. So I will put a picture up also on stream right now. That is what these things look like, and they move. They are again moving not super. They are very slow. But you can see that they are moving up in your direction. The roots of the things, the sort of base of the things, are as they come towards you slowly. The good news, though, is that they, unlike the fungal horror, do not have some long reach or a ranged attack. So they move up, but they are not able to get to any of you yet, with the exception of Jaraxxus, which they're not going to do because they'd be attacking the fungal horror, so they're not going to do that. So they are moving in that direction, but they are not able to attack anybody yet. That's your nightmare. That's going to bring us to the top of the round. And that's going to bring us to the fungal horror. Gamork, remember, has now shifted to after Nulls. So the fungal horror is going to go next. And so at the beginning of its turn, now I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, Jaraxxus.
Yeah. Ooh, 11.
And 11 is not going to do it.
Yeah.
So you feel the, could I say it was peristalsis, I suppose, of this thing. You are going to take another 11 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing is just
All right.
you know, like you can feel the pressure as your bones are crushed, etc. Which I think means, oh, I'm sorry. It should be 15 because I forgot that it has +4, so my bad. 15.
Okay.
So that means -6 for the temp, so you have 4 total, I think.
Another 9.
Say again.
So 15 total, so -6.
Which is 9.
From the temp, and then I take another
9. So you're
yeah.
down to 4 regular, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it does that. It's now going to looking at the 3. Let's see. So it's got Mavra, Fob, Nulls. Wondering if it's going to try to rip off. It probably is going to try to do that. All right. So it's going to attack the wolf that's hanging onto its neck. I think that makes the most sense. So it is going to attempt to slam it, like something slamming a mosquito. Let's see. That is. Okay. Both of those are going to hit. Wow. Okay. Slams into Gamork, and you hear, all of you hear, Jaraxxus internally, you hear this, and all of you outside hear the crunching of ribs as the vines slam into Gamork, who drops off from the creature and lies motionless on the ground.
No.
Now, the creature does not, the fungal horror is not able to engulf it. As I said, it looks like it can only do one at a time, but Gamork is currently not moving. That's the bad news. The good news is that's its turn. So that leads us to Mavra. So Mavra looks over at all of you and then looks down at Gamork. And she sort of like, Nulls, I would say she probably locks eyes with you and sort of gives you the unasked question, like looking down at Gamork and then back at you. You're not going to have time to give her a long like speech, but like this is one of those deals where you could sort of nod and go, you know, or not. But she's clearly giving the universal symbol of, do you want me to try to help this situation? So yes? Okay.
Yes.
So she speaks some words, and the sort of crushed ribs you see sort of filling out on Gamork again, and his eyes flicker open. Now he's still on the ground, but he is functional. And she steps back to the corner, her eyes wide as she's staring at this thing. But Gamork is prone, but is alive and somewhat healed, which leads us to Nulls.
Okay. So I do know that I want to use Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
That's my bonus action.
Okay.
And Fob is next, right?
Fob. Actually, Gamork will be next, and then Fob.
But Gamork can't do anything.
Well, Gamork can stand. He might be able to attack, because it is his turn and he's conscious again. He won't be able to move more than getting up, but he could do that, and the creature's right in front of him.
I don't see, and I also don't know what will roll on the table, so
True.
I could roll Bardic Inspiration towards Gamork and it have no effect whatsoever. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspire Fob.
Okay.
So that's my bonus action, and again, I've got to find stuff on this. I haven't done it in a while. Let's see.
Should be 1d8, I think, is what the inspiration should give you. Bardic Inspiration, I think, or is it 1d6?
I've got to find it on my
D6.
A d6. Okay.
But
If you go under actions and then scroll down to bonus actions.
Yep. So there's Bardic Inspiration. It's a. There we go.
I think
it's a 4.
Yeah.
So
well, in some cases, I don't know what you want to do, Greg. In some cases, the person just hold on to it, and that roll is not made until the person uses the Bardic, or whatever. I don't know if Greg, you want the roll ahead of time. Or...
No, that's fine. I'm happy. That's okay with you sort of holding on to this. That's fine.
Well, let me see what 4 is on the table. Where is it?
You mean your?
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Oh.
So I don't know. I have to look at the table to see what it is, and I'm trying to find
that could be a big deal. Like beyond. So yeah, please do tell me that.
That's right under. Let's see. That's right under where it says Bardic Inspiration. Do you see where it says Tales from Beyond? Determine Tale.
Okay, so here's 4. Tale of the Runaway. The target can immediately use its reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. When the target teleports, it can choose a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of it up to your charisma modifier, minimum of 0, to immediately use the same reaction.
To do the same thing to teleport?
Yeah. Yes. And again, how this works is that you use the bonus action to determine the tail, and then now you have this Tale of the Runaway banked until you use an action to cast it. So right now, you just know that you have the Tale of the Runaway to use, and at any point, including this turn if you wished, you could expend that Tale as an action, choose a target, doesn't have to be fob now, you choose the target when you expend the Tale. Choose a target, and then that all happens. So essentially, it looks like a target and let's see what your charisma modifier, and up to 3 other people all teleport 30 feet away.
Can't imagine why that would be useful right now.
Okay, so if I'm understanding that correctly,
yeah,
or creatures, people or creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could get. Oh, can I get Jiraxis out?
I was wondering when we were going to come to that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand completely what was happening with that.
No, that's fine. It's
honest.
Honestly, when you said the thing about it's one of the tails, and then you described the Tale of the Runaway, I was like, oh, yeah.
Literally perfect.
Now, here's the deal. Now, technically, you can't, like, Jiraxis is blinded, but I would argue that it doesn't suggest that, if you look even at the picture here, the assumption is that it is engulfed and you occasionally see a humanoid figure. I would argue that that probably means you could cast it. Like, it is not concealed from you. It specifically doesn't classify that as hidden or concealed. So I think you could probably see Jiraxis, yes. Jiraxis can't see you, but I think you could see them.
So here's what I would love to do if it's possible. Who is in front of me? Is anybody besides Jiraxis? I know Mavra's at the back. Gamork is in front of me. Yep. Just Gamork.
Just Gamork.
Because what I could do is I could teleport Jiraxis and Gamork out of there and hit this thing with a thunder wave.
Okay.
The to expend the tail, you have to use an action.
Okay. Well, so I have 2 actions to go, right?
No, you took your bonus action, and then you have 1 single action this turn.
Right.
So your bonus
is not the same
determines.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
I
bonus
didn't know
determines
that.
the tail, and the action is 1 action for the whole time.
I didn't know that. Crap.
Also, if we don't figure this out soon, chat is going to lose its mind over the puns like
so
barge.
I can't.
It's so good. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
I can't teleport them out.
You can. It
you
uses
can.
Your whole action.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do that. Is it anybody else close that I need to get out of there?
The only one I can think of would be if you wanted to move Gamork, who's currently prone, you could.
Oh, no. I want to move Gamork and Jiraxis. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
You get to choose. It says when the target teleports, it can choose a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of it, up to your charisma.
So the target can, right? Can choose?
Which you could make yourself.
And I make myself the target.
Okay. So that's yourself, and then up to 3 other people. So myself and Gamork, and then one other person.
I see. Okay.
Is anybody else in danger?
I mean, everybody
we're all
next
in
to you.
danger.
I was gonna say, yeah, all
Yeah.
of you technically. I mean, but there's no
Not
one.
yet.
There's
Yeah.
no one in immediate like the way Jaraxxus and Gamork are. Not to that
Okay,
extent.
and they don't want to leave the fight anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport out Gamork and Jaraxxus, and I'm going to end up teleporting myself because that's just how it works.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, where are you teleporting them? Because you could teleport them to the far side of the room. You could teleport them technically into the hallway behind you. You could teleport them, like just in a row next to you, like because there is room on the left and the right. You could do that too.
So Gamork is super injured, right?
Yes, although a little better than he was because of Maverick, but still injured. Yes.
And Jaraxxus is super injured.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to teleport them into the hallway.
Okay. Okay. So you do that. That was a very clutch tale. Jaraxxus is like,
Yeah, it was.
and Jaraxxus, you end up, so you have this very odd experience, Jaraxxus, of suddenly finding yourself ripped out of this creature and just suddenly you're on the stairs, covered still in this like weird spore kind of thing. Yes. And the teleport, yeah, it's not, if it were a speed thing, I had this image of you ripping the thing to shreds, but that's not how it works. So you just teleport out of it along with Gamork behind you. And Jaraxxus, as you're sort of breathing, you hear, and you can hear like Gamork is behind you, sort of like looking up at you. Looks like he's been injured also.
We both just give the look, the what's up nod of, yeah, we're both really hurt.
We're both really, yeah. That was as clutch as it gets, Knowles. Good stuff.
Amazing.
Yay, I've been useful.
Yeah. You always useful.
Sometimes my spells don't work in these situations.
That
I'm going
was-
to murder somebody else.
That was very good.
Don't want
Also
murder.
good are, there's not much room to go. We're all really liking this. The
my
teleport
God.
effect is portobello to whoever the caster wants. I saw Kat getting in there, and Johnny as well. Yeah, good work, everybody. We're all doing well here tonight. Okay, I'm almost tempted to award an inspiration just on the benefit of the puns. Like it's very tempting.
You should.
Okay, yeah, I'll think about it. I may have to consider. Anyway, okay, so very good stuff, Knowles. I assume you're not moving though yourself. Oh, well, you teleported, so
I teleport, so yeah,
Okay.
I don't have a choice there.
okay. Right. So you're all in the hallway behind, more or less single file, and that's going to lead us next to Gamork. Now, Gamork is basically just going to stand because he was still prone when you teleported him, and sort of growls and is not going to run forward at first. Clearly, is sort of waiting to see what the reaction is going to be from everybody else. And that leaves us with Fob and Titus and Mavra still in the room. Fob, you were up next. So you were facing this thing, which has been hurt, but is still obviously very fearsome. So I shroom do that. I shroom do that. Okay. All right. Thanks, Chad.
I am going to shoot, and I have steady aim, so I have
Right.
advantage.
Yep. Plus the bless too.
Plus the bless. So let me just find. Oh my God, where has the
Emily.
aim gone to? Sorry, too many windows. All right, so
I know the feeling. Okay.
So the first roll is a 12, and the other one is a 28.
And it's a
So-
critical hit on
Oh,
top
wow.
of it.
Oh.
I think we're going with a crit, aren't we?
yes, we are.
All right, tell me what the max damage is, please. What could you do at maximum?
With the short bow, I could do 10 points.
Okay. Do you have sneak attack damage? No, because there's nothing currently engaged with it, and you're not technically hidden. You are in front of it. Okay. I was curious. Okay. What kind of damage, by the way, is that? Is that piercing, Fob?
That is piercing.
Okay. Yep. All right. So it sinks deeply, and this time you hit it between some of those tentacles, and it sort of like rears up. It seems angrier even than before, if
good.
that's possible. And now, what would you like to do, Fob, move-wise, or if you have a bonus action or something like that?
I do have a bonus action.
Okay.
So I don't have to disengage because I'm already shooting at it, so I'm some distance away. Is there any place I can hide?
Okay, if you were to hide, you could hide behind someone, but you would have to do it in the hallway, which would make it very difficult for you to shoot. However, Fob, give you a choice, give you an option, because the far side of the room has lots of like bottles and barrels and things like that behind which you could hide. The problem is, though, I'll tell you what check you'd have to make to get there. You'll probably do it at an advantage, but that does mean you'd be separated from your party on the other side of this thing. But then you would absolutely be hidden.
I'm fine with being hidden from them. So yes,
Okay.
I will do this.
Then I'm going to ask you to make an dexterity check. If you want to do acrobatics, I'll take that as well, just to get past this thing, more or less.
I'll do acrobatics.
Okay.
So you see Fob do a fabulous cartwheel.
A fabulous.
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 With an 18 altogether.
Very nice. And I think on an ability check, you would also get the bless. So
I did add the bless.
I see it. I'm sorry. Yes. You were able to get over there. So yes, you get onto the other side of it, and you're now next to these sort of foul-smelling spores on the other side of a barrel. But you all see Fob, in Fob's practiced way, disappear more or less behind.
It's like
this
1
thing.
minute there, and then just whoop,
Yep.
and gone.
Yep. Fob is vanished. All right, Fob, you were hidden. That's going to lead us to Jaraxis, and Titus is on deck. Jaraxis, you're there. You're alive. What would you like to do?
So as he's there, like crouched on the ground, looking over at Kamork, looking back at Nalik, and I'm curious, just like visually, Toya, what your thought is of like how that tail looked. So like, was it when you inspire like this and you tell these tales, is it like spirits that are showing up and doing things, or and like what color is the magic, or like how would I perceive that you were the one that teleported me out, or would I not even have seen that? Would I just suddenly be outside of the
Well,
thing?
Knowles is all about dreams, baby. So
Mm-hmm.
it would be like, how when you wake up from a dream and at the moment you wake up, it's all very clear and you remember it clearly, but the more you're awake, the more it feels like it starts to become a distant memory.
Right.
And you have like certain images of it, but you're trying to piece it together, and you have some understanding, but it just kind of eludes you and you can't completely grasp it. It's like that.
So I might even
You have so you would have the thought of being whooshed out, like you're there and then you're not, and like you might have like the sense of all of these amazing colors all around you, and it's very real and vivid and wonderful in the moment. But when you get on the other side and you become physical on the other side, it's that moment that you're trying to get back, and you sort of understand it, and you sort of know that Knowles was there doing it, but it's fleeting.
Amazing. Okay. And so as I stand and then look back, so at this point, who is not in the hallway? I know Fob. Well, actually, I don't know if Jaraxis would have noted that Fob has.
Yeah, you don't see
disappeared
Fob.
somewhere.
Titus is not in the hallway. Mavra is not in the hallway.
Okay, so we're still kind of half in, half out right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two options that I'm debating. This one's way too big, I think, to do. Yeah, I'm also super, super low, so I think I'm going to... The creature engulfed me before by making an attack roll, right?
That's right, and it hit you twice.
Yeah. Okay. I think Jaraxis, as he's standing up, just instinctively presses a button on his chest piece, or like some sort of like part of his harness that he wears.
Okay.
And casts Clone Pack, which is like mirror image. So 3 other Jaraxuses appear around me.
Yep.
So that hopefully they get hit rather than I do if I get attacked again.
Okay.
So I cast that, and then stand behind everyone else and shout, "Get up here, we can't handle that right now." And that's my turn. I'm urging everyone to flee.
Okay. Do you have the 6 temp up again, or did you do that as part of this?
No.
Okay, I didn't want to make sure.
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. That leads us to Titus. You have heard what has been said. You were up next.
If I can,
Titus
if I can
laser
still
bolt.
be within 30 feet of the creature, if that's possible, like right at the entrance of the hallway or something,
Yes, that's probably possible.
as my
yes.
movement.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
But just at the edge of 30 feet. Like I don't want to be any closer to it. Okay. Thanks. Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead, Titus.
Titus laser blast the thing again.
Okay. The power of laser blast compels you. Well, first, did I see?
How about an 11?
That
That's
was.
you just rolled damage.
I think you rolled damage. Yeah.
Shit, hold on.
I was gonna say. I was like, I don't think the radiant attack.
How about 23?
Hey, that's a hit. Okay.
All right.
Are we keeping that 8 radiant? And then you said, but the 1d, never mind the 1d4. So, okay. Yes. And you can see as it sears into that creature that you see burned parts of vegetation and fungal growth around it. Like you're definitely hurting this thing. But it was large to begin with, but it's definitely, you can see these blackened portions where you have damaged it, Titus, and where Gamork has ripped pieces off and so on.
Where are the other 2 fungal
And where Fob hit it
creatures?
as well. They are behind it, coming up. They're going to be coming up next. Probably still a turn away from you. The turn after, they'd probably reach you. Or, like, reach the
Okay,
end of the
and
room.
the other question? And the other question is, did Titus take in the fact that Fob moved forward and then disappeared? Did I see the somersault or the action move that was like surpassing the creature and then
I'm going to have you make a
vanishing?
perception check. I'm going to have you do it at disadvantage. But you can also add your bless to this.
All right. Do you want me to roll another bless
Yes.
for each of these rolls, or do you want me to just?
Oh,
Okay.
no, just for the just the yeah, just the perception. Do the perception check and then do a bless for that. So the 1d4 added onto the perception check.
Okay. That's the first one.
Didn't even need it. He had
There you go. Disadvantage.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, that's true. That's true. Disadvantage. Yeah. Still, that turned out. So 21 we're looking at. Yeah, even without having to do any other
Sure.
bless stuff. Yes, you saw Fob sort of like pull back and then kind of look around, and then they just, this like impressive looking Cirque du Soleil style flip forward over the thing.
Okay. Quick question about what's in the room on our side where the door is before I declare my move, and then
On your side,
in my
nothing other than just the people. The ones fighting your
there's
party.
no barrels like.
Not on this side. It's all in
There's
the
not like
back of the
any-
room.
Okay. Okay. Titus is going to move to his right,
Okay.
sort of like, and put his back against the wall
Okay.
so that nothing can get behind him or approach him from behind.
That puts you
And
next to
then yell
Mavra,
out.
by the way. So Mavra's like to the right of you as you do that.
Okay, he's going to do that, and then he's going to yell out, "Fob's still in the room. We've got some advantage here. Stick around." And then that'll end my turn.
Okay.
Also, I was gonna say real quick, isn't there some other effect to laser blast other than just the damage?
Oh, is there?
Just radiant damage.
Are you sure? I thought it. Because what spell is it mimicking? That it is this kind of like guiding bolt in D&D? Because that gives like an advantage or something.
Oh. In addition, the next attack roll made against this target before the end of your next turn has advantage. You're right.
So it is guiding bolt.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay.
But that's only for me?
No, because what it does is it basically lights the thing up. It should be any creature should get that. The next attack any creature makes against it. I can't really ex post fact it to the last round.
I was about to say.
I can't do that. But for this round, we can do it. So it means the next attack against the thing, now that you've done that, we'll get this advantage on the attack. Yeah, thanks, Zach.
Thank you for pointing that out, Zach. Don't forget your telepathy.
Thanks.
Okay. The violet fungi things come up further, and next turn they'll be able to get to those of you standing at the front of the room. These two creatures, which are small but look menacing, I think it's fair to say. Okay. Top of the round, we are back to the fungal horror, which looks around. Sees in front of it Titus and Mavra, does obviously not see Fob, and so it's going to, it's going to randomly decide. Okay, 1 and 2 would be Titus, 3 or 4 would be Mavra. Mavra it is. So it's going to attack Mavra, attempting to slam into Mavra twice. Does so, blam blam. Okay. Slams Mavra, who lets out a little huh as she's hit, and then engulfs her in its body.
Did it hit her twice?
Yes. Was there something to counteract that?
I do.
Okay.
I think if I see, given that I've just gone through this and that it engulfs, did I get the impression that both attacks need to hit in order to be engulfed?
You know that once it hit you with the second vine, that's when you were dragged in. So you would guess so, that it has to hit you twice. Also, you didn't see this, but there was the fact that it was trying to engulf a Gamork and it couldn't do that when it had you.
Okay.
So it ran out of vines to do that. So yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this will even work. Ooh. Yeah, probably. No.
Let's hear it though.
Well, okay. The idea I have a thing I can do once that turns any D20 roll into as if it had rolled a 10. But my confidence that that's actually going to change anything is low because this monster is still probably adding stuff to the die roll of 10, and that probably still hits Mavra. It would be my bet. Even if I'd change, like, let's say he just rolled a 12 plus 4, that's 16, but I make that a 10 plus 4 is 14. I would bet that Mavra still has a low AC. But, and I don't want to waste it. I think I'm going to save it because if someone gets crit on or rolls super low on something, I want to save it for that. So,
okay,
yeah, never mind.
All right. So this, so Mavra is inside there. Let me see. What is Mavra going to do? Mavra doesn't have a whole lot of options. But while blinded and Mavra calls you up telepathically. Hey, Drexus, how did you do things inside? Okay. Okay. So, is she gonna do that? Well, and actually, it just struck me. Yeah, okay. So I should mention that the bless when she is engulfed drops. So you no longer have the bless. That's concentration.
Oh, no.
So you do not have the bless. That's the bad news. The good news is though that as you're watching, she does. You see sort of the creature, and all of a sudden, this faint red glow outlines the outside of this creature, and you can now see it much more easily. What this means is that you now have advantage to hit this creature. because she has clearly used something we like to call fairy fire from the inside of the creature.
Okay.
So it is now illuminated in this fire, and that's all she's going to be able to do. Nulls, that leads. Yeah, go ahead.
The radius of fairy fire, is it big enough that it could catch the little guys too?
I would say, let's see, in a 20-foot cube. Yes, actually. So the violet fungi are also affected by this too. Yep.
Great.
Okay,
Cool.
Nulls, you're up. You see the creatures outlined in the way I've described.
Well, I'm in the hallway, so I don't know if I do.
No, you could still see it. I mean,
Okay.
you're like, unless you didn't close the door, I don't think. So
No, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like there's a wall there or something. Okay. And I've got Titus in front of me. Right?
Titus, not in front of you. No, Titus is to the right of the door. He's against the wall next to Mavra. So Titus and Mavra are in
Okay.
the room, and you can't see either of them. So, yeah.
Mavra's inside the creature,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Mavra's in the creature, so just Titus.
and Fob is hidden. And I don't know if Null saw that or not. So let me understand. Like, I don't know that I can use Bardic Inspiration again. I don't know. Can I?
You can. Yeah. The only limit to you using it is if you run out of uses, and right now
Okay.
you have two left.
So I should leave it second and not first. Is that?
What do you mean by leave it second?
Well, because I did it first and then because I thought it was a bonus action, and it's a bonus action, and then I couldn't do anything else really except for teleport.
So what the bonus action part is to determine what tail you have, and then that tail you have until you use it, and to use it as an action. So like last turn, you used a bonus action to determine that it's the tail that teleports people, but you could have decided to hold on to that tail for the rest of combat.
Okay.
You decided to use an action that turn to activate it.
Okay,
So you could use a bonus action to determine the tail now, and then depending on what it is, save it for later, do a different action this turn, or use it immediately.
Yeah.
So could I cast a spell now and then do the Bardic Inspiration?
You could.
Okay.
I mean, if I was you, I'd do the Bardic Inspiration first in case I get a tail that's really cool that I want to do instead. You know?
So here I'm weighing my options, right? I'm trying to figure out if everybody is out of harm's way, because I could also do Thunder Wave and hit both the big one and the two little ones. The problem is Thunder Wave could hurt Mavra. Also, it could hurt Fob because it's like 15 feet.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at.
You're not
Yeah.
likely. You're not likely to hit Fob.
Okay,
From where Fob
but I
is.
am
You are going
likely
to.
to
You
hit
are going to
Mavra.
hit Mavra. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good thing to do. So I could do Bardic Inspiration again, and that way I don't hurt anybody.
Well, again, all the Bardic does is it determines what tail you have. It doesn't actually perform any action yet.
Right. But most of my spells are going to be, I mean, I have Vicious Mockery.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try that again, but my other spells are kind of AoE.
Yeah. Well, looks like you have Dissonant Whispers. That's a single target.
Yeah.
Dissonant whispering a mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, can I do that with a creature?
What does it say?
Again, I don't really know how to look at these things without
can you
casting a
just-
spell.
Just click the word Dissonant Whispers, and it should pop it up.
Okay. Okay, creature of your choice.
Yeah, in
Now-
fact, I think I might be able to... Yeah, so it doesn't... There you go, that's the description on Roll20.
So can I do Dissonant Whispers and then roll Bardic Inspiration? And then I can't figure out what it is yet, right?
No, when you roll the Bardic Inspiration, you immediately figure out what tail it is.
And then
You
it's
just
and then it's banked, and you could then cast it as an action next turn.
Okay,
you
so
wanted
let
to
me
do
do that. Let me cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
but I can only target one creature. And so Nalls is kind of guessing that this fungal thing is controlling the two smaller ones, and if the bigger one is defeated, so will the smaller ones.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So Nalls is going to cast Dissonant Whispers, and then roll the Bardic Inspiration. Okay.
Okay.
So she's whispering.
Sounds good. So, what's the DC that I'm trying to beat for you? You should have a spell DC, Knowles, that I need to overcome. That the fungal horror needs
that's
to overcome.
at the top
Is it
of
13?
That's right.
Okay. It does not do that. So go ahead and roll your damage, which I think is 3d6 at this level.
Well, I need to roll Dissonant Whispers first. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. There, 17.
Nice. Okay. So
Great.
it takes all of that. And now it is going to move. It's going to use its reaction to move. So it actually turns and it's going to walk this way. Now, Fob, since it's walking...
I've got to roll my Bardic Inspiration, sorry.
No, your turn's still going. Just your turn's on pause for a second, Knowles.
Okay.
Fob, as it walks past you, you do have an opportunity to attack it from a hidden position as an attack of opportunity. That would reveal you to it, but you would also, you could maybe wreck it pretty badly if you do hit it. So do you want to do that?
I would like to hurt it, yes.
Okay. And you are doing it advantage because of Fairy Fire and also multiple other things we don't need to go through. But you have no bless this time, remember.
That's right.
No bless, but Fairy Fire.
Great.
All right, and I'm doing it with a dagger, I'm presuming, is the way I should go.
That's up to you. But
whichever weapons you have.
I'm going to go. The dagger is more natural, so
Okay.
let's go with the dagger. So either a 20 or a 12. Let's go with the 20.
20 will hit. So now you're doing this with, I think, sneak attack. Because so you get damage plus sneak attack damage, and then Knowles will come back to your turn. I haven't forgotten, but this is all responding to his, because he uses his reaction to move from you because of your successful Dissonant Whispers. What would freak out a mushroom creature? Like sauteing? You're just like, sizzle, sizzle.
A little bit of butter?
Yeah, exactly.
Someone looking to make an impossible burger.
Yeah, exactly.
12.
12. All right. Okay.
Great.
This is starting to look kind of messed up, Fob. You can see from your close position that the creature is kind of starting to look pretty. There's bits of fungal growth dropping from it and so on. You've hit it a lot.
And as a bonus action, I will hide.
Okay. Technically, this is happening on its turn.
Oh, that's I have. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you'll have a
Just
chance
so
to do it because
used
okay. So now we're back to the finishing up Null's turn.
Yeah.
So
I
now
need
your
to-
Bardic Inspiration thing, and then
Yeah.
Titus, you're coming up here and just. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
2.
No, it's not.
Where's
No,
my
sorry, not Titus. I beg your pardon.
Where's my table? Where's my table? Oh, here we go. Nope, that's not it. 2 is Tell of the Renowned Duelist. You make a melee spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes force damage equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die and your Charisma modifier.
Ooh.
So I'm not
Okay.
sure what that means.
It's going to mean
the
good
second
stuff
part.
next turn.
Okay.
That's what it's going to mean. So hold that thought. All right, and then Knowles, you're not moving anywhere, right? Because you're in the hallway. Do you want to move up into just into the room? Because the thing is running from you at the moment.
I don't know what tricks it might have up its sleeve, though. It is sporish, and I'm concerned that it's going to explode spores at some point. So
Fair.
I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Okay, that seems reasonable. Okay, now it is Gamork's turn, and Gamork, which is up and is tired of having to be back here. Gamork is going to run forward and is going to attack this thing. So he is going to run forward and is going to leap against him. Let's It's not going to make it, though. The creature does not hit it. The creature sort of turns around in time to slam it against the wall. And Gamork, sort of growling, comes up, on paws, like, hackles raised, but did not hit it that time. Fob, that leads us to you. Jaraxxus is on deck. Now your regular turn happens, Fob. Now, so now what you have an opportunity to do is, I believe if you could bonus action hide at the beginning, I guess, if you want to try to regain that ability or whatever, but...
Yes, I believe that I can when I look at the sneak attack. Yes. So I'm going to do that,
okay.
And then I'm going to pop up and throw another dagger.
Sounds like a plan. Let's see that happen. Again, an advantage because of the fairy fire.
Awesome.
Is it 13 hit?
13 is not enough, I'm afraid. So unfortunately, it just slams off. It just, I won't say clanks, but just off of its heavy vines and falls to the ground with a clatter. And the creature's
actually,
like...
I rolled +4, but it should be +6, so that's actually a 15.
Oh, 15, I'm happy to tell you, does hit.
Uh-huh.
Helps if I look at the thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So
yes.
Damage. And sneak attack at that.
I do get sneak attack?
Yes, because Gamork is engaged with it.
15 damage.
Wow. All right. Like I say, starting to look very hurt. Okay. You've done that. Now you can't bonus hide again because you bonus hid to begin with, so you're now visible, unfortunately, Fob. But
uncanny.
Moving, why are you going to try to move like any distance? You really are engaged with it, so
I'm trying to keep things between me and it.
Okay.
Basically.
Barrels like wine bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, Jaraxxus, you're up. This thing has been hit quite a bit.
Ooh. Okay. It's starting to look hurt. Jaraxxus will move further in the room.
Okay.
And
you also have these violet fungi right next to it, by the way. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
In fact, it's now a little farther back than the fungi are actually because they were
Right. I am concerned about Mavra though, so I think Jaraxxus is going to curse under his breath. He's going to telepathically curse to himself, otherwise known as having a thought, and then he's going to. I think I'm going to symbiote mark the giant fungal horror, which hexes it, essentially, gives me an extra d6. So that's what I'm concentrating on. And I can cast that from 60 feet away, and I can cast what I'm going to do next, the Sprite Beam, from like 120 feet away. So Jaraxxus is just taking pot shots from the hallway now.
Pew pew, okay.
And so let's hope that this works.
Okay, remember you're doing this at advantage.
Oh yeah, great. That's already amazing, and that's a natural
20.
Wow.
Crit hit will succeed, obviously.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
Tell me what it does.
So, Sprite Beam as Eldritch Blast is normally a D10. So, oh wait, so do you want me to tell you max damage?
Yes.
Okay, so, oh right, okay, so not doubled, but max. Okay, so that's 10 from the D10, so 10. 6 from the D6 of Symbiote Mark, so 16. And actually, I believe that's it. I don't add my Charisma yet. I don't have the... So 16 damage.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it just... You see spores shooting everywhere. Fob, awesome. Some of these spores drift down upon you as you are next to it. Okay. Okay. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, that's all Jaraxxus will do, and then he'll say, all right, maybe we do have this. And it's just kind of there, shoulder to shoulder with Nulls.
Titus, you were up. The creatures, the violet creatures, are going to be able to attack this turn now that they've arrived.
All right. Titus is going to... Silly enough, I should have done this earlier. But Titus is going to, for a bonus action, he's going to create an assault drone, excuse me.
Okay.
I don't know why it did that. Okay. All right. Anyways, he's going to create an assault drone.
Okay.
And have it, I can basically take an action next round, I believe.
Okay.
With this thing. So.
Okay.
Wait a minute. One second. No, I can move it with any range and attacks. Have it move to call it thing 1 of the little things and
Sounds
make an
good.
attack.
All right. Go ahead and do so.
All right. So it's going to
Ooh.
20. All right. Does a 12 hit?
Yes, it does. Sorry. Small guys, right? You said, or the big guy? Did you say
Small
bigger?
guys.
Small guys. Yes, they
Small
does hit. Yes,
Okay.
indeed. They are not very agile.
Awesome.
And 11 points of radiant damage.
Okay, that cuts into them. That looks like it badly hurts one of them.
Titus, taking in that situation, will then aim his laser pistol and make an attack as well.
Okay. On the same one, I assume.
So, on the same one.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Laser pistol.
So it looks like
15 hit.
15
and,
will hit.
Aren't they fairy fired too?
No.
So you
Oh,
could-
yes, that's right. They are. That's right. I forgot about that. You could
mean,
have
you
fairy
already
fired
hit,
the
but-
other one, but okay. So, so this one's you
Well,
could roll
does
this. Yeah.
Would the drone be affected by advantage in that situation?
Yeah, because anything that can see it, any attacker that can see it would get that advantage technically. In this case, it's not going to matter though because of
Alright.
the damage you did, but we'll remember that for next time. Because 10 piercing
Sounds great.
is more than enough to destroy this thing, and it
Nice.
explodes in this shower of purple spores. So there's only one of those left now,
Great.
and you're staying where
And
you are
Titus
ish.
is not. Yeah, Titus is going to hold his position.
Okay. The creature that is left is going to come up and attempt to reach out and touch someone, specifically you, Titus. And it is going to make, as it reaches out, you can see these strange sort of like tendrils reaching out from it. And it's going to attack you twice, attempting to basically simply touch you. So we're looking at a 19 and an 11. Well, either of
The
those
19 hits.
Okay, the 19 hits.
The 19 hits.
Okay. You are going to take, as you feel the spores kind of in your skin, you are going to take 8 necrotic damage, Titus, as you are hit by these things which burn and hiss as the thing touches your flesh, your body.
There's no save on this?
There's no save on that. It's just it's an attack. It's
So you
called
said 8?
rotting. It's called rotting touch, in case you're curious. And yes, 8 necrotic.
All right.
Okay, and
Right.
that's all that it is going to do. That's going to bring us to the top of the round. At the top of the round, the creature is Mavra is going to have to make a save because Mavra can't breathe. All right. So that I can't tell you what happens, but you can still see the fact that Mavra seems to be moving inside it suggests that maybe Mavra's still hanging in there.
Okay.
So now, though, the thing has turned around and it has seen Fob, and it is not happy with Fob. And so it is going to attempt to attack Fob. And it is going to try to slam twice. Fob, we are looking at a 25 and a 14. Sorry, you're muted, I think.
The 14 does not hit.
Okay, 25 does. All right. So. All right. So you were just hit by the 1, and you are going to take. You are going to take still 15 points of necrotic damage as this thing hits you.
Ah!
So Yes, but you are not engulfed. First of all, there's something already engulfed, but also it only hit you the one time.
Well, I'm going to stagger around dramatically.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And that's all that it's going to do. Now we have, let's see, what is Mavra going to do? I think Mavra is going to attempt to keep Mavra alive, is what Mavra is going to try to do. So you don't know what is happening with Mavra, but rest assured, Mavra is trying to stay alive in reasons that I can't describe. Which leads us to Nulls, who's up next, followed by Gamork and then Fob. Nulls, this thing looks exceedingly hurt. And there's also one violet fungi left.
Okay,
Fungus left.
so I have the bardic inspiration with melee attack.
Oh yes, that's right.
So I've got to ask a question though.
Okay.
Can I do Dissonant Whispers again on Big Daddy, and then melee attack this one tiny one that's left?
I don't think so, because Dissonant Whispers is not a bonus action, right? It's a regular action. So if Dissonant Whispers is just a regular action, then no, you would not be able to do both. So you'd have to choose one or the other.
But I still can hold on to my bardic inspiration.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go after Big Daddy again, and then I'm going to take a step back.
Okay, and you're Dissonant Whispering him?
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm hoping that one's almost done.
You'll be happy to
Alright.
know that maybe because he's a little distracted and he's not super into protecting us, that he does not save against that.
Oh, okay. So here we go.
So you go ahead and make your roll.
It's 9. Not great, but...
Okay. Yeah, sort of looks like barely held together now. Not dead, but very exceedingly hurt. Good stuff, Niles. And you're taking a step back, you said?
Yes.
Okay, that means Gamork is up, and Gamork is going to try to savagely rake its claw across the thing, and does do so. Gamork did not come to play today, I should say, but did not.
Well, he should not.
No, I know. I mean,
when does Gamork come
that's
to
true.
play?
Gamork never
I'll
comes to
wait,
play.
yeah.
It's a fair point. Okay, does not do a whole lot of damage, but still, like, it's, as I said, barely holding together. Fob, that leads us to you. And so again, the thing is barely upright.
Well, I'm going to hit it again.
Okay.
It's what I'm going to do. And this time I'll add 6 instead of 4. Does a 12 hit?
12 does not, but remember you're doing this at advantage because of the power
Right.
of Fairy Fire.
Ooh, well, I'm going to put the 25.
25
right?
sure will. Absolutely.
Can this bitch die already?
Let's find out.
For 7 points.
Okay.
Oh, you get sneak attack too.
Oh.
Well, she didn't.
Right.
She didn't.
She had advantage, which is a qualifier.
Oh, that's
of
right.
sneak
Because
attack.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. If you're advised, that's right. So you do get sneak attack damage. Yeah. Because I was going to say
So
she's
then
not.
I'll add,
I was going to say they're not hidden, but that's true. That is good.
so make that 12 instead of 7.
That's very useful because with that, the creature literally just dissolves into the floor, and there are these wisps of dark smoke, and you see coughing on the floor Mavra, who is still alive. Not out of initiative yet, because there is a creature that does not die with it, so the one violet fungus is left. But it is that this thing has been destroyed. Fob, where do you want to move, if anywhere?
I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay.
And prepare to attack again if other people do not take it down.
Okay.
Do you have a bonus action free?
If I have a bonus action free, then I will hide.
Okay. And you can do that. And that'll lead us to Jaraxxus with Titus on deck. Jaraxxus, one thing remains. It's this other violet fungus.
Oh boy. Well, this was really bad to start, and now we're okay? Question mark. Jaraxxus is going to move a little further in the room, and now has just, with the adrenaline pumping and at the edge of his life and everything, is just shouting, "Yeah, that's what you get!" And it's not only him; he has summoned 3 illusory versions, so it's just
That's
him
what you
and
get.
stereo.
Yeah.
3 other Jaraxxuses saying it at the same time. So my symbiote mark, when a creature dies, I can shift it to something else. So I'm going to move the mark now to the little guy.
Yep.
And as a bonus action, and then I'm going to sprite beam again. still with Fairy Fire advantage?
Yep.
All right, great. That's an 18 and another 18. So 18.
Best
All
be
right.
done with these
Sounds good with
scenes.
18. You've hit it.
Okay.
You've hit it for sure.
And so I do 10 points of damage.
Okay. That hurts it quite a bit. It's still up, but you blasted a big chunk out of it.
Okay. And Jaraxxus is just advancing in the room.
Tentacles
shouting.
waving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Good stuff. Titus, you are up. This one hurt violet fungus is left.
Okay, the drone is going to make its attack first,
Okay. Do it up.
and this is at advantage.
Yes, absolutely. Let this be a note to everyone out there. Fairy Fire, very, very good spell.
Yeah.
Very good spell. Okay.
So a 12.
A 12 will hit.
Okay.
You are not aiming at the big dude anymore.
9. How about 9 points of damage?
Points of damage, and with this massive, this thing blows the hell up, and spores fill the room. At least what was left, sort of drifting down, and a dead silence fills the room. I do need Fob in particular to make a Constitution saving throw for me, as these spores have settled down onto your body, Fob.
Can
That would be an 8.
in Jaraxxus, since I was moving into the room, am I within 30 feet of Fob?
Yes, but you're not going to be able to. Well, what are you thinking about doing?
Replacing the 6 that Fob just rolled on the die with a 10 to make that 12 instead.
If you want to do that, I'll allow that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Jaraxxus will move forward, and he'll say, "Fob, the spores, and that changes your 6. Yeah, that changes the 6 to a 10, which is now 12. I don't know
12.
if that helps.
It does help.
Okay, good.
Fob, you have a moment where you have this strange flash in your vision of as if you were standing in this darkened hall, and for a moment, at the very you're not in the wine cellar for a moment, you're in this hall, and at the very edge of this darkened hall is this one single purple flame. And for just a moment, as you're staring down at the hall, you see this flame picked up by something, you don't know what, and then hurled in your direction. But before it hits you, you kind of your eyes open, you spit out or cough out the spores, and you are with your friends in the room as the darkened spores settle over the floor, which is great... Oh, go ahead, Fob. Yeah, go ahead.
I will choke out dramatically. The purple flame! The purple flame!
And with the purple flame cough, that's a perfect spot for us to take our break. You are watching day 25 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks with a very difficult and well-managed combat by this group. Good work from everybody against this fungal horror. What caused the horror? You'll find out if you join us in, let's say it's 9:30, so let's reconvene at 9:40 if we can, crew. And then we will play until 10:30. Please make sure to follow all the things and watch all the stuff from the amazing Johnny Pippin, Toya Kristen Finley, Kat Rambo, and Zach Clay. And we will be right back to you folks in about 10 minutes. Go eat some mushrooms. Hang tight. Okay, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the second half, a little bit over second half, as we have just defeated a large mushroom. I have not seen a battle that impressive since the Huskies defeated their opponent by almost 30 points. Wait, did I say that out loud? The women currently are leading at halftime as well, so this is why I can't take this. I have underneath, chat, my Esper Genesis shirt. I want you all to know, but I can't take I can't take the hoodie off yet because the women aren't done yet. So I have to wait, and then we'll see. But anyway, we watched a very dramatic and impressive fight just now against a bunch of fungal creatures. And the party was successfully able to stop them. And so as we return to the action, we are there in the room. Mavra is lying on the ground, sort of just sitting up, kind of getting a hold of herself. And there are these dark spots on the ground where the creature was previously found. I should say there are still some like fungal bits here and there back near where the wine rack was, but none of them seem big enough to create another beast like what you just saw. That seems to be the remnants of things.
And can we see where this thing originated from at all?
Yeah, if you want to go back and check like the wine rack, for example, or over in that area, you could do that if you wish. Sure, Nals.
I'm going to go over to Mavra first and see if she's okay.
And she's... That was not expected. You all the rest of you all right? Her voice is a little raspy.
We're all still in one piece, thanks to you. That was a nifty little spell you had there.
Perhaps, but it was your spell that freed Jaraxxus, or we wouldn't be in this situation to be giving each other praise.
The inspiration comes and it knows what one needs, I suppose.
How could something like this have happened? Someone needs to go get Glimmerleaf and she can explain this.
Jaraxxus moves forward and says, yeah, I was going to ask, I had a weird, as I was being strangled by that thing, I had a weird vision of you, Nalik, and then I was suddenly out. So you did that? You pulled me out of it?
It was the inspiration, baby. Comes and goes like a dream. But yes, that was me who pulled you out.
And you see Jaraxxus, like, is still clutching, like, his side. Probably some of his ribs are broken. You see that he's bruised from where it squeezed him too hard. And he says, I don't think I've ever been hurt that bad before. Thank you for saving my life.
Well, I know you would have done the same. And I'm glad you're still with us.
And Jaraxxus says, I'm gonna sit for a bit. And just like plops down in the dark cellar.
And then
And Gamork, by the way, when you do that, is like, and then kind of like shakes his head as if like clearing his nose from something, and then comes back over to the entrance, and then sort of sits down on his haunches and just glares at all of you collectively. Sorry, Nals, you were going to say something.
Jaraxxus looks up and says, well, one of us should go get Mavra, and I elect it not be me, because I can barely move my fingers.
yeah, and I got hit by lag for a second. But yeah, Malik is going to look over at Gamork and just do this.
And Gamork sort of tilts his head, and doesn't say anything. And then Nals, you wanted to go over and check something out, if I remember correctly.
I want to cautiously look at the wine rack where you said there's still like stuff from where this creature originated.
We will talk about that in a minute. In the meantime, Titus and Fob, what are the two of you doing? And Draxus, I know you said you wanted to get. I think you meant Glimmerleaf, not Mavra. But
That's right.
Titus and Fobber, what are the two of you doing?
Bob is grooming themselves meticulously and bleeding.
Okay. Yeah, Fob got hit quite a bit too. Okay. Titus, what about you?
Titus is going to sit down, start interacting with his rig and preparing various drones and bits.
Okay.
And he's going to do this. Okay. He's going to take 10 minutes and try to cast mass, or he's going to prepare a mass treat, which takes 10 minutes.
Okay.
And he's going to let everybody know that he's doing this.
Okay.
And that was terrible because it's only 7 healing, but here I'll post it in chat if I
take
can.
Yeah, listen, it's better than 7 more than what was had before.
And in fact,
Yes.
too.
Basic-
Go ahead.
So what it does is mass treat takes about 10 minutes. You treat up to 6 creatures of your choice that you see within range. Each creature regains 2d8 plus your forging ability, and this has no effect on automations or constructs. And my internet just lagged out.
We heard you.
We heard that.
Excellent.
All right, excellent. If I have to, I might have to turn off a video because it will help.
Okay. You were okay for most of that fight though, but yeah, if need be. And also hello to Gamer Boy in the YouTube chat. Welcome. Okay, so that's so as I look over at the thing, I was looking at the wrong number. That's why. Okay, mass treatment. Okay, so everybody gets 7 then.
Great. Draxus is also.
Everybody who's injured gets 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Draxus is gonna hit the switch on another part of his suit and gain the temporary again by doing innervate.
Okay.
So I'll get 7 temp.
7 temp. Okay. So just to check in, so Nulls didn't get hit that fight, so it's still sitting at 31 out of 31. Gamork, never mind what Gamork. I know what Gamork is. Fob, you have 12 out of 20 now. Hale and Hardy. Jiraxis, 11 out of 21, I believe, and 7 temp.
Mm-hmm.
And then Titus, you're 27 out of 28, I think I have you at.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. All right. So now what I would like Nulls to do is to roll an investigation check for me, please, as you come over to the rack, the wine rack. Let's see, is that a 13?
13.
Yeah, you can see that the sort of remnants of the fungus, if you imagine like lichen or moss on a rock, as you look around, you eventually you can see that it's coming from a central point, and it is on the top rack an empty wine bottle, which is made of dark tinted glass. And it's notable for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's the only one that has this kind of coloration in the glass, and it's also the only empty bottle that you see. Everything else here is a regular filled bottle.
So it looks like our friends came from that one bottle there. The only one like it on these shelves. Wonder who planted it.
Jiraxis says, fungus coming from a wine bottle?
That shocks you after everything you've seen?
Kind of. How did it grow to be so big?
Well, we need to find whoever put it there and ask them.
I hope it's not the Glimmerleaf mentioned that she had 1 bottle of the Spirit Colors wine. I hope that's not what you were drinking, Mavra, when you were inducted.
And Mavra says, no, but I wasn't. And then you hear, what is going on here? And you look up and you see that Glimmerleaf is standing at the door with this horrified expression on her face. And Mavra says, "We might ask you the same question, Glimmerleaf." And this is the first time you've actually heard anger in Mavra's voice. And Mavra sort of points to the rack and says, "We've solved your problem with mushrooms. You now have to explain what on earth they were doing here." And so Glimmerleaf takes a couple steps in and sees you, Null, standing by the wine rack and says, What do you mean? What you've cleaned out that what was here?"
You care for Mavra, don't you?
"Yes. Why is everyone
Well,
you all look hurt?"
well, whatever was in that one bottle was a very big, angry fungus that tried to take all of us out. Absorbed Mavra, absorbed Jaraxxus, absorbed Gamork. We almost lost all of them.
"It came out of that," and she kind of takes a few steps and then puts a hand to her mouth. It came, that bottle? That one there?" And she points at the empty one.
The very one and the same. Why want to tell us where you got it from? Although we have a good guess.
"That's the one that I kept from the spirit callers. That
Oh, great.
awful. How could this happen?
Draxus puts his head in his hands.
This was being served in my establishment? This is awful." And at this point, a couple of the assistants have come behind her, and she says, and they're like, "Mistress Glimmerleaf, what? Not now. Go attend to the tables." And they all sort of give her a weird look and stumble back and then walk up the stairs again. And she says, and she steps forward and lowers her voice and says, "I'm horrified that nothing like this has ever happened. I'm so sorry. What is going on?" And then she turns to Mavra and she says, "You're one of the spirit callers. What are they doing?" And Mavra shrugs and says, "That is what I have been trying to determine, along with these. We have all been trying to decide what has led to the disappearances and led to this." And so Glimmerleaf just sort of shakes her head, and she sort of remembers herself and says, "Well, I'll help any way I can." And then she kind of reaches around and she pulls from a pouch at her belt, and she says, here, and then pulls two other things from her belt. So first of all, she gives you all a total of 50 gold pieces. And then also, so one of you can mark that down or distribute as you like, 50 gold pieces. Okay. She also gives you 2 stoppered flasks. And she says, "These are 2 of my rare vintages, but they're mine, not this thing's, and they will have some benefit to you." And she explains that both of these function as they are the equivalent, basically, of potions. One of them is a potion of greater healing, which is very useful. A potion of greater healing will heal 4d4 plus 4 is basically what that will do. And there are, I want to see how many doses. There are 2 doses in this. So 44, and you can do that twice. From the same 44, so total, so like half of the potion will give you 44. And you can't combine it, in case you're curious. You can't just chug the whole thing and get 8d4. Like, that's not how it works.
I see.
So there's that.
Got it.
The other one that she gives you is a potion of poison resistance, or the equivalent of that. And she says, "This is but a small recompense for what you've been through, and I cannot apologize enough. I thought that when I was sending you down here, it was for something simple, just a matter of overcoming a few extra cleaning operation, not anything of some full-out attack. That thing would have attacked my staff or even the guests. Anything I can do to help you to bring these people to justice. My establishment's good name will not be dragged through the..." She looks down at the floor. "The spores."
Really quick question. Is that 50 gold each or 50 total?
50 total.
Okay.
So that's 12 and a half gold or for each of us.
Yeah, basically.
How many of those poison resistance?
That's just one dose. Is
Okay.
that one? Yeah.
Jaraxus
Greg,
says he's.
can you
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Can you remind me about something?
Okay.
Nulls had Titus collect something from the bottom of the closet last session. I was just checking Zach's notes.
That's
and
right.
I'm wondering if it looked like spores or if it was something else. I think I remember it being clay, but I wanted to confirm.
That's right.
It was clay.
It does not look like spores. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted
It
to
was
make
that kind of pinkish
Sorry about that.
clay on the bottom of Naya's boots
Yep. And
or
also,
sandals.
also
Right.
the colors are not equivalent either to this.
sure. Okay, great. Thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
That's good.
Jaraxus says,
Well, the first thing you can be sure of is that you won't be serving any of that tomorrow if they bring
Certainly
it.
not.
And if your offer to allow us to see what's happening here still stands, then we'll hopefully end whatever this is. I just don't understand what the effects could be on someone who drinks this.
Well, there's another question to be asked. We know who planted it, but who was it for? Did she know we were coming? Was it for Mavra? Someone else?
Oh. Maybe the wines that they were drinking are not the same as this one. That's probably it. Glimmerleaf, when you were given this wine bottle, did she grab it from the rest of the collection that was laying out, or did she separately say, hey, here's a premium vintage of our spirit colored wine?
In fairness, she didn't give this to me.
You took it.
I'm a
That's
collector.
You
and-
mentioned.
yes.
You mentioned.
But she only served this. She insisted that this would be the vintage that would be served to the spirit callers. It was part of their initiation rite. The others around, the staff, and so, well, not the staff doesn't drink on the job, but others who were in the area, just sort of the regular guests, they were served wine from my own cellars, which I assure you does not result in fungal beasts.
Wait a minute. She said that was meant for spirit callers.
The initiates specifically, as I recall.
So, if it's absorbing people, where are they going? Jaraxus, Mavra, did you have any sense of another place when you were in there?
Death.
Mavra shudders and nods.
That would be strange. I come from a place where science stands rather tall in the hierarchy of things, but even I'm not quite sure how drinking that, and he points at whatever remains of the beast thing, would it consume you from the inside? I don't know.
Turn you
Also-
into it?
Also, Fob, you inhaled some of the spores there. Are you okay? What were you were saying something about a flame out of nowhere?
Fob, it was strange. Fob was in another place, and there was a purple flame reaching for Fob.
Oh,
And
Mavra,
then
do you know
Fob
that-
was here again. Say it again?
Mavra, do you know of this purple flame?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. But there are many parts of the ceremony that perhaps the higher-ups might know, but I certainly went through no such thing during the initiation, although, in fairness, it was not a Strika who did the initiation. I was initiated some time ago. I am now one of the regular spirit callers, but I don't remember anything about a purple flame. There is a dim, purplish, luminescent light down here all the time anyway. And Mavra says, either way, if Ustrika or the rest of them have something to do with this, they must be confronted. Glimmerleaf, when is the next ceremony being held here that they told you? And Glimmerleaf says, tomorrow. That's always, they're going to be held tomorrow. And Mavra nods and sets her jaw and says, then I will confront Ustrika directly at that time. We'll make sure that, and Glimmerleaf says, no, but it doesn't work that way. The initiates last time, they came on their own, but Ustrika just arrived by a portal, a magical portal. She just teleported into the middle of the gathering. It was quite impressive, but there was no one to follow. She was just there and then vanished the same way. And Maverick kind of falls silent and looks at all of you.
And maybe don't be so hasty in confronting her. You've never seen anything like that before. You don't know what else she might pull up on you.
They cannot be allowed to get away with it, though.
And they won't. They won't. Let us help.
And Maverick kind of nods, and Mavra looks over at Glimmerleaf, and Glimmerleaf says, again, I am happy to do whatever is necessary to help. And then she sort of looks and thinks about it and says, I could, if you wish, make several of you look like initiates. And Mavra's and Glimmerleaf says, I have some skill with disguises. There have been occasionally times where I needed to enter a wine auction. Never mind. Anyway, there are now, and I'll say to the party, multiple ways that you can go about this, by the way. But apparently what Glimmerleaf explains is that she's willing to disguise you to make you look like initiates, and she will uphold that falsehood because, and I should point out too, by the way, quick sidebar to that, Glimmerleaf looks, you already know Mavra's pissed off. Glimmerleaf looks genuinely angry, furious. And in the way that only someone who has just been told that their 5-star restaurant had a bug in the soup, figure that times 10, right? She's just no. So she is willing to do whatever, including this disguise. But any ideas or thoughts that any of you have about other options are also perfectly welcome. But that's what she, off the top of, what is willing to do as she thinks of it.
Glimmerleaf, how long does your glamour hold up?
Oh, it is not a glamour. This is a disguise kit. It will hold up until water is splashed upon it, or until someone were to come up and deliberately wipe it off. But if I may say, my disguises are quite difficult to see through. I have had some practice in the building of my stock.
Draxus says, you sure about me?
And gestures to his beard and hair made of red tentacles.
Well,
and also points at Titus as well.
And she kind of hems and haws a bit. I'll figure it out with you, she says, Draxus, and then her gaze slowly falls to you, Titus, and she says, So
maybe we don't disguise, but the two of you, for sure.
Draxus looks at Titus expectantly, like you were going to say something.
No. That is, you said it all. Good.
All right. Draxus then says,
well, I have another idea. If Ustrika has been teleporting in and out, she must be teleporting from somewhere. And so, Mavra, in matters of confrontation, you know the Hall of the Spirit Callers, I assume?
Yes.
Do you know from where Ustrika could be teleporting? Maybe we don't confront her here, but rather confront her back home.
And she nods and she says, Ustrika has in the past often been found there, of course, but I cannot say that she teleports from any place in particular. She is quite powerful, and since she is prone to communing with the spirits, it is not unusual for her to travel far and abroad through Celis and even into the caverns and caves beyond. She has the power to teleport from anywhere, as far as I know.
All right. Well, we will have a window of time within which she is with us, or here. So, saw once. I myself made a elaborate plan once for a heist. This isn't exactly a heist, but something doable. And Draxus will kind of groan and lean forward and say, "All right. So we know spirit callers or initiates are coming here. We don't want them to drink the wine. So, Glimmerleaf, if you could serve them your vintage instead. And then spirit caller things happen. Mavra, what do? They just mingle and drink? I mean, it sounds like a party more than an initiation.
There is usually a ritual. There are several phrases and odes that are sworn, and there is also a sort of examination, I suppose you might say. It is a meditative state in which the initiates are supposed to engage, but it is usually something which is, I can't remember if anyone's ever actually failed it. By the time they reach this stage, the assumption is that they are ready for what comes next. And so...
Well, where I'm from, that's just called being drunk.
And she sort of she gives you a slight she says, "No, this is something which is much more serious. It is a celebration, but it is also the marking of an end and a beginning. When you become a spirit caller, you are leaving behind, somewhat at least, the life you had before. Now your life is concerned with larger matters. Indeed, most spirit callers probably would not have done what I had. But I cannot abandon my foundation if I am to move to the next floor of my house. I must attend to all of myself. And I swore an oath before I swore an oath to the spirit callers. I swore an oath to help my family. At least have not forgotten it."
Now, if some of us are going to be disguised as initiates, how are we going to fake this meditative state?
And she nods and she says, "Well, the ritual begins by drinking from this ceremonial wine, usually the same ritual goblet. And then at that point, there is a trance, I suppose you might say, which comes upon you. It is some combination of what the coordinator of the initiation, in this case Ustrika, is able to cast, and also the effect of the wine combined together. But of course, I did not drink this tainted wine, so I cannot say how it would differ if you were to drink that. As for the regular wine, it is really a heightening of your own understanding of yourself, as if you are highly conscious of the world around you. A super aware state, perhaps.
And so if we serve everyone the regular or, non-spirit color wine tomorrow, in a sense, no leak, it sounds like everyone will be faking it.
Yes, indeed. I'm not sure how we get around that part, because Astrika will know something's up.
Right. And then I suppose, Mavra, you've said confront her, but, what do we expect that she'll... we don't even really know what's happening. They're drinking fungus-infested wine, and then that somehow leads to the disappearances, at least is our hypothesis. She could probably outright deny everything. I don't know if you have any particular pull here. It's... I think it would be hard to charge her with anything other than infested wine, maybe.
That would be enough. Poisoned wine, which could do what this thing did, now witnessed by all of us, including Glimmerleaf. That would be enough to at least begin an investigation. But if we were to go to Astrika now with it, she could probably disappear before the ceremony happens, and we would have no guarantee. Right now, all we could charge her with is creating dangerous circumstances that lead to a fungal beast, but not the disappearance of all these that we're seeking.
Is there... Maybe there is some merit to actually letting it play out like they want it to then. So that we learn something. Maybe catch them in the act. If we try to stop it before it happens, then nothing's happened, and then we can't stop it, if that makes sense.
But you can't let anyone drink, this is Mavra says, you can't let anyone drink that tainted wine. And Glimmerleaf nods furiously. I won't serve any of that poison in my establishment. If they bring a case of it tomorrow, I'll have it switched out for, well, they won't know this. I'll have it switched out for good wine. My wine.
Mavra, is there any reason why a ritual hasn't gone as planned, like it was delayed for some reason?
Only in very rare cases, and that only when the initiate themselves had taken ill. But as far as I can recall, this has only happened once or twice. It is very unusual, and has never been created, as far as I know, by the person actually doing the initiation.
Well, do we know where she has her wine stores, Glimmerleaf? And maybe something happens to the wine?
And Glimmerleaf shrugs and says, they deliver the wine to us, at least they did the last time, and then I served it to the guests and took the extra bottle that you now know about. I don't know where she keeps her wine stores or what she has or where she gets them from. I assume someplace inside a building, but I have no idea. That's not my business. I simply maintain the wine stock when it arrives.
Duraxis looks to Titus and Fob and says, well, what do we think?
Bob is not big on original thought or coming up with big plans. Bob is mostly here to protect all of you.
I can respect that.
Titus thinks about what Fob just said, considers the situation, and says, we're going to have to take risks to solve this either way. My thinking is that we don't serve anybody any of this and we risk getting caught rather than potentially poisoning anybody else or trying to locate the source. There's the least amount of complication in that case, and it's a pretty binary situation. They either fall for it or they don't.
This seems reasonable. I totally think we should not be serving it to people.
Right. I was joking.
Our enemies.
Okay. Oh, wait, Fob, what did you just say?
Our enemies. We could serve it to our enemies.
Well, as far as we know, the only person that's our enemy is Ostrika.
Well,
And,
there's the other point that she might become another fungal hell beast that we have to take care of.
And Mavra says, and whatever Ostrika actually is or has become, she was not always this way. I will not lower myself to her level. I will not turn her into a beast.
As a part of these rites, Mavra, does the spirit caller also drink the wine?
The spirit caller themselves?
Or, sorry, Ostrika.
No,
the leader.
The initiates do. That is always the way it has been.
Yeah, and I suppose it wouldn't make sense to break tradition for some reason.
Unlikely, but I suppose we could see at the time. Ostrika was always very clear, meticulous about the way traditions operate. And she shakes her head and she says, none of this makes sense. It's not what I know of her. But very few things are what I thought they were, even 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like Titus and I will have to be involved without being disguised. Could we be guests, maybe? Mavra, would it be unusual for you to be at this event just as yourself, like someone who's already completed initiation coming in to help oversee or, look after the next generation? Would it be uncouth for a non-initiate to arrive, other than Ostrika?
It would not be usual, but the larger issue is that Ostrika has been at this for some time, and you would be likely to be considered. She would know who you are, or who you aren't anyway. I don't usually think there are many allowed besides Ostrika and several family members, but even then, the family members are usually known to Ostrika and the initiates themselves. And Glimmerleaf says, I could hide you, of course. You could be hidden nearby. I would let you in before things began. There are several places where you could be concealed. It's not ideal. I can't promise that guests wouldn't walk over and perhaps discover your place, but it would not be immediately obvious to anyone that you were here.
I like that plan. And then we serve wine that won't, turn into fungus things, and then just see what happens from there, I guess. And Mavra, that means you'd be disguised too?
I would not be able. And then she thinks about it and she says, well, on the other hand, I suppose it is possible that I could be here in a secondary role. And she looks at Glimmerleaf, who kind of waits, and Mavra says, I could be here as representing the Whisperwinds. It's not unheard of that noble families may have an observer present, though it is not commonly done. But the Spirit Callers technically do not have the right to refuse it. Not at least without an appeal to the Primarch, and the Primarch is not likely to hear it and certainly wouldn't take the time. So I could be there in that official capacity. I would like to think that I could keep Ostrika from becoming suspicious, but who knows? It's obvious I don't know her the way I used to.
Maybe it would be better then if you disguised like Fob and Alik. Redid your initiation, as to say.
Bob could be a good silent initiate.
All right. Well, I think that's...
One more question. Because I'm not going to drink the wine. I'm going to pretend to do it. But I do think we need to look like we know what we're doing. Mavra, do you ever have dreams of your initiation?
Mavra sort of thinks carefully and says, yes, I remember it distinctly. But it was... And she pauses and she says, Glimmerleaf, I mean no offense to you, but this is a private thing. What I'm about to explain is something I'm explaining only to these four, and that only because it is the only way I can see clear to finding what has happened, and perhaps discovering my lost friend. And Glimmerleaf sort of blinks and then says, yes, of course, no, I understand. Do any of you need anything else? I'll go attend to some preparations and then we'll return.
I would love some wine, please. That it is yours, not theirs.
And she nods and says, I will give you the most stable of our vintages. And she departs, sort of barking orders. And Mavra looks at all of you and says, each person experiences their own encounter with the spirits, and it is a very personal, private thing. But as I say, I will tell you, because my desire to help those in Celis and to help my friend outweigh my larger oaths. But what I say may make little sense. There was a fog, a blinking light in the distance. It looked, at first it looked like the fungal light down here, but then I realized it was brighter and more regular, almost mechanical in nature. The light seemed to be from a great distance, and then it came closer, and there was this great dark shadow, a presence of some kind on a great stone chair, and was holding a staff or a sword or something in its right hand, and on top of it was the blinking blue light. And then it said, she kind of pauses and says, it said the bridge would be crossed. Then I came back to myself. I took it as a vision of connection between myself and the spirits. I've always believed that was the thing that had shown my connection to them. But now I fear I am interpreting everything through the lens of this betrayal. And she shakes her head and trails off, and you can see that she's deeply moved, shaken, might be the better way to put it.
And this figure on a throne with a staff, is this a religious figure?
Not that I know. No. I assumed it was one of the spirits beyond the veil, the ones that speak to the Twilight Elves, the ones to which we are destined to make contact. I took solace and actual hope from that connection. But now, in all this knowledge, I don't know what it meant.
Do you know why this figure was reaching out to you?
I assumed I had proven myself in the ritual, that I had become a spirit caller, and that as a spirit caller I had been granted the blessing of seeing the spirits beyond the veil. But I know nothing beyond that. As I say, it is different for everyone, and we are not permitted usually to speak of it to others. We interpret it in our own way. You also see that her sort of demeanor is kind of circumspect, halting, even slightly embarrassed. It strikes you as this is quite a personal thing.
And Draxus says, well, Knowles, you were saying something about playing the part, though.
Well, yes, if it's something that's deeply personal that happens during a meditative state, during a trance, then I would suggest that Bob and I think of that thing as Mavra has described, that we've always wanted, that we've tried to attain and could not get. Almost like we're in prayer seeking it out. Maybe, in fact, in prayer seeking it out. Who would know the difference, since it's personal to each one of us?
Bob is nodding, because this all seems reasonable.
Mavra nods as well and says, it seems a reasonable course. There was no one in that vision with me except the figure that I saw.
All right. Well, I think I want some wine and a nap. And
on cue, the
Draxus-
trays are returned, actually, with Glimmerleaf and with several of her assistants carrying them.
And Draxus says, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to take this not in the fungal-infested cellar. Thank you. And he starts going up the stairs.
Yeah,
to leave.
they set you up on the tables. I should have said that in the first place. Yeah, they set you up on the tables outside. and Glimmerleaf goes off to attend to more preparations. And Mavra sort of, Gamork follows you up, and Gamork sort of like sits, a distance. Occasionally, a couple of the staff are sort of like staring, as they walk by, and Gamork sort of like growls, eyes narrowed, just sort of glaring at the wine and the table.
And Glimmerleaf, Null says to Glimmerleaf, "Do you have something hearty for our direwolf friend?"
I am not used to serving wolves, but I can provide perhaps a kind of milk. And then as if Gamork understood that, Gamork kind of like stares and Glimmerleaf says, "Yes, but perhaps not milk.
Give him the same thing I'm having."
And she sort of shrugs and brings over, asks her assistant to bring over a bowl, and then puts some wine in the bowl. And Gamork kind of and then laps up a little bit.
Jaraxus says, "I don't know, did we figure out how old he is? Is he old enough to drink?" And he sort of chuckles.
And Mavra, sits there with her wine untouched. And she says, "We'll have time to rest until tomorrow. But what happens if we're wrong? What if..." And she shakes her head. She says, "What if all of this is a lie? The spirit callers, all of it?"
What you experienced was very real.
That is true.
Maybe you don't and maybe you don't understand the interpretation yet, but you crossed over to something.
That's true. The question is what?
Well, Mavra, we have been staying with your family. How do you feel about returning there tonight?
And she kind of like, first it sounds like she didn't hear what you said, and then I had already thought that I must return. But I do not know what the reunion will be like with my mother. Elu, it will be good to see her. And, as always, it is good to see the others. But, Mother... But I must do what I will. I do not even know whether I will still be a spirit caller after tomorrow. But I will see this through. We must stop these disappearances. And I must know the truth of what Ostriga is. So yes, I will return.
And Jaraxus kind of looks at the others, and he says, "Then I should probably tell you what I mentioned earlier." And assuming no one else stops him, Jaraxus doesn't see a reason why. He starts to recount. Well, actually, now, especially in his cups a little bit, Jaraxus recounts his story leading him and Titus to this planet from the beginning, which Fob and Nalik, I think, had already heard in some level of detail.
Mm-hmm.
But then after a bit, realizing he's rambling on and not getting to the point, he fast forwards to inevitably what happened to Mavra's brother, and then recounting all of it word by word, how they then got here, and how Elu and their mother already know, and what their reactions were to how Elu's mother blamed Elu for it to a certain degree, or was, a bit of dissonance there.
And Mavra is just, her mouth opens and her eyes get wider, and then eventually tears fall, and she says, My brother. I always thought that my mother's warning not to go above ground was proof of her conservatism, her inability to see beyond the now and to the future, but why would he do that? Why would he? And she just sort of stops and she says, "What has befallen my planet? Camria is surely lost, and we will be lost with them. There can be no hope when good people like this are killed."
We're not going down without a fight. And you asked, will you even be a spirit caller after this? But after tomorrow night, I don't know if you will be or not, but I do know this. You will have evolved.
When I evolve, woe betide the people, the enemies who are near me when it happens. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close. Ooh, so good. So good, so good, so good, so good. Tremendous work from all of you. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Excellent, 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 excellent. I love this so much. The setup for the party, this is must-see viewing, y'all. Those of you in chat, you are not going to want to miss that. I have no idea what's going to happen at this party, but I am excited. You're going to have several people disguised. You're going to have some people hidden. You're going to have some people who want vengeance. You're going to have like some family oh man, like it's going to be.
Yeah.
And we will start in our next session. We will start with the reunion, in quotes, of Mavra and her mother, but we're going to obviously focus most of our attention next session. I think the party would agree on the party, on the initiation.
And
so
we're going to get some long rest.
Yes.
Some people really need it.
I think that's reasonable, yes. So we'll be able to do that. Great stuff tonight, though, starting with a difficult combat. And I knew that it would be difficult, but I knew partially because you had Mavra and Gamork with you, and partly because I suspected that you would all figure out ways to sort of manage this one way or the other, although I didn't know what exactly. But man, some serious clutch maneuvers. First of all, you all were doing a lot of excellent damage. I think everybody did damage at some point to that creature. And then obviously the incredibly clutch, teleport tail of the bard was pretty sick. That was great work too. Excellent work with Fob and the hiding and the careful use of sneak attack and the appropriate use of sneak attack, excellent work as well from things like Titus the attack drone is just very well managed all the way around. And then to figure out that it was this freaking bottle that produced it and what's going on with the streak. Oh man, so good. I cannot wait to see what happens next. But excellent work from the party. I will start with bottom right with Zach. Again, Zach, the opening of this was very much the like at that point. And I noticed that when that happened, yeah, exactly. And everyone at that point was just kind of like, well, just got real, this thing. But again, one of the benefits to this was the 6 temp definitely kept you going for a while, and there wasn't a whole lot you could do until you got teleported out, at which point you were then able to start acting again with some other things. And I, so that from the combat point of view was great. I also liked the role play decision at the end, when a little bit drunk, to start talking about why you got there in the first place, and then to follow that up with all of the stuff, regarding the loss of the brother, which was going to happen at some point anyway, and it led to a really nice sort of role play moment that we could hold on to. So what did you think about how did it feel to be inside a fungal horror, and how did you feel about today, and where will the folks find you next, Zach?
Was that somewhat similar to a shambling mound, would be my guess?
Yes, but modified, but yes.
Yeah,
for example, necrotic, not bludgeoning. So
right. Those things are renowned for killing parties, and so
almost killed the Curse of Strahd party when it was a regular shambling mound. Almost TPK'd them back in the day. So yeah.
Gosh, I guess because the ability to be able to take one person out by engulfing them and continuing to do damage and still punching. That's a tough creature. And if looking at all of it, if that combat could have gone so much differently, like I could have Draxus last session ended by saying I'm the one in front because no one else wanted to be in front. And so my choice to again say, yeah, I'll stand forward, being the one inside, that extra innervate, I would have been knocked unconscious if I had tried to, break out to breathe. I would have been knocked unconscious. And then I love Nalik going from seeing me and seeing Jiraxis engulfed and being like, let's leave, close the door and discuss this, to
it was funny too, listening to everyone else be like, but you're leaving Jiraxis behind. It's like, yes, but we need to save
going from that to literally saving his life.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I mean, you guys would have done enough damage at some point, but I would have been inside that thing for another couple rounds, because I certainly don't have the strength to get out. So that was all amazing. And I really want to make it a point with this character to, he knows that really, the feeling he had, I mean, we didn't get into too much detail, but being, strangulated by your entire body by a creature like that would not be a fun experience.
Yeah.
And literally within inches of his life. So I want to remember for the future that I think Jiraxis is going to look at Nalik a little differently. And remembering and keeping in mind the fact that she literally kind of saved his life here. So I think that's going to matter for him. And I'm excited for everything next session. The mysteries of all this different stuff, and great DMing as always.
Thank you,
Arvan Eleron. And I guess to move into me, the fine people will find me here for this again next month. Yeah, well, it's about to be April. And then for our vocalists, I think actually this next month I'm not going to be a part of our vocalists. Unfortunately, that's because I'm on Unmade Gaming next month for the conclusion of our Alien series. I'm a part of a Let's Play, or not a Let's Play, an actual play show in the Alien universe, GM'd by Little Red Dot. And we are about to board the same ship that features in the video game Alien Isolation, the Sevastopol. And it's several years later, and we are trying to capture a xenomorph to do some experiments on it, and a lot of things are going to go wrong. And our next session this coming Tuesday is going to be us getting to that ship. And
still none of you have died, right? I just want to be clear.
Still
somehow you've all survived.
That's true. No, we, at the start of this campaign, each of us made 2 characters. And then most of us half of our characters got killed, and leaving us with our main ones.
Okay.
But yes, our main ones that we've chosen, kind of in the same way that we started this campaign with 2, and then we chose one. Those ones that we chose have been with us. So yeah, we'll see. This is it though. This is the final season, and we have 4 episodes left. So should be exciting. But yeah, that's where people will find me for now, and may get back into streaming at some point. Johnny's inspiring me with all the talk of him getting back into streaming too, so maybe someday. But yeah, that's me. Had a lot of fun.
It's going to be good times. And by the way, quick note that Generation GMs.
Yes, I keep every time I remember right as you say it.
It's fine. Generation GMs, which is Gen GMs. That's Zach's and my DMing show. That is going to start. We're currently getting a video editor, and so we're going to be ratcheting up the releases of. We have long videos up there, but we're going to be ratcheting up the release of a bunch of shorts also. If you are interested in the stuff that Zach and I do from GM's perspectives, then may I recommend you go over and, as Trifagist was kind enough to put there, click on that and subscribe to us over at Greg Zach GMs, and discussions between 2 experienced GMs from different generations, obviously Zach the older one, as we talk about GMing and DMing. So, but thanks, Zach. Good stuff tonight. Well done. Kat, I'll tell you what, Fob did not come to play on the attacks with the sneak attack. Definitely was helped out by the fairy fire in there. It was a good idea. I was wondering when you decided to do the flip into the back, I was thinking that I was going to lay it out for you and you're going to be like, yeah, I don't want to be splitting the party. But I think in this case, you really wanted to be hidden if you wanted to be able to get the sneak attack stuff. And then later on, as it turned out, the fairy fire meant you had advantage anyway. But before that, you really needed to be able to, someone needed to be DPSing it, like, and really sort of taking this thing down. And also, I loved the moment with you and the purple flame. I can't wait to see if anything else sort of lingers with Fob about that. And clearly, quote of the night has to be the whole thing about, like, Fob is not really about big plans. Like, as Emily said in chat, that's like all about, like, I totally want a shirt with like Fob's picture, and Fob is not about the big plans. Like, I love that.
Well, Fob is not. Fob is Fob, and I enjoy this character tremendously because Fob is so Fobbish. I thought that was a lot of fun. I did like the moment where we were debating whether to stand out and step out, and I did feel obliged to say that we're not known for short conversations, and I was pretty sure if we stepped outside, it'd be like 20 minutes later and we'd come back in and there'd just be this little pile of bones on the room, and we would have come up with a really good plan in that time. But
all right, I'm gonna faint left, and you're gonna, like, meanwhile, like, Draxus is slowly being squeezed.
It would have been epic. I mean, it really would have been epic. Fob is about lives in the moment. So where will people find me? I think the next thing I'm going to be at is Cascade Writers Conference, which is not until July.
Okay.
But I thought I'd mention to people, I just posted a whole bunch of new classes for my school, including my advanced fiction workshop, if people are interested.
Very nice. And you should definitely check that out. It was my honor to have the channel host some Rambo Academy for Wayward Writers stuff in the past. So you definitely should check that out, folks. Thank you, Kat. Good stuff tonight. Also, Toya, like I said, that's about as clutch a bardic inspiration as I can imagine. I really liked that, even though I know it's slightly random in terms of what it actually does. But any of those tales would have been valuable. And this one in particular was like absolutely spectacular. Like, what could be better, than pulling something out in the way that you were able to do. And you have definitely been effective in combat in certain ways before, but this was a clear example where it's like, boom, like you absolutely did that. And also I was interested, as we were talking about, like, the visions, and Knowles asked specifically Mavra that. It was really interesting to me to watch as Knowles was sort of, I mean, that's Knowles's thing, right? Like, Nalik's about, the dream world and thinking about visions. And so I thought that was really fascinating. You're interpreting not exactly a dream, but you're interpreting something which is separate to our reality in some respects. So I thought that was super cool. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Well, Nalza's bardic inspiration is like Jiraxis's, I have telepathy. So I have to remember it more often, and I think I've actually still got that last bardic inspiration banked with the melee because I never used it. So that
we have to check and see how long that lasts, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it lasts. Probably not through a long rest, I'm guessing. So we'll double check.
Yeah, maybe not. But I've got to remember that I can use it a lot more often. Yes, and that was nice and clutch. So the inspiration knows what one needs.
That's right.
I'm very interested to see how the whole initiation ritual goes down, and I thought it was really cool how you described what Mavra had seen, because it was really a vision, right? What she interacted with, did she really interact with something, or was it just a vision? But she did see something, and, like, how does one interpret that? We'll find out. Who is that person, that figure on the throne? We'll find out. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Mavra actually being reunited with her family. I have been looking forward to that since we last ran into her and discovered that it wasn't like there was some big rift in the family. She just went off and was trying to help her community and her planet. Mm-hmm. I love that she cares about the planet so much. And yeah, that fight was awesome, just because I say this all the time. Everybody just comes up with stuff that you would not have come up with. So where will I be next? Here on this stream, as we do more expeditions for the Mysterious Peak.
Good stuff. Thank you, Toya. And definitely, again, remember, folks, check out all of Toya's stuff, because Toya has a lot of awesome books and things that is done, and freelance writing, and a whole bunch of things. So you should check that out. And it's also, of course, the esteemed editor of the Gen Con Writer Symposium Anthology, which you will not want to miss. That is going to be the antho to be in, to be a part of, and to get and to read. So, but thank you, Toya. Wonderful stuff tonight. And last but certainly not least, Johnny, again, Titus with some good moments here too. The assault drone was valuable. I think one thing that was sort of left out of the equation is the fact that those fungus things could actually have, since you were already in a weakened state, if one of those gets up and like hits Jiraxis, you're in trouble, or hits Fob, who was already really hurt, is in trouble. So like you being able to wipe that thing, one of those out like just that, was super important at the time. And figuring out what to do is interesting. I love Jiraxis, I didn't mention this before, running out of the room being like, we've got to get out of here. Then Titus being like, I think maybe we've got this. Like, it was really funny. Just like the whole, no, it's fine.
Rubber banding.
Yeah. You're just like, no, yes, no. That was great. And I'm going to be very interested to see, how Titus reacts in hiding with Jiraxis while Fob and Nulls are disguised here. It'll be very interesting to me to see how you all manage the party and what Titus's take will be on that. How'd you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I keep getting surprised. Actually, hold on. I'll say this. If for whatever reason I lag out, I'm going to try to keep this short.
Okay.
I was really surprised at the fact that Titus continues to be what appears to be one of the bigger damage dealers in the combat kind of like oriented characters in this game.
Yeah.
Whereas, Jiraxis and Nulls really come off with sort of the tactics element of it, which I really
Titus and Fob
appreciate. Like, Fob and I got this. You guys figure out how to make this good, right? So that I'm completely surprised, given the fact that his build is supposed to be a medic. He's supposed to be a combat dog, so it's just really strange to me. Anyways, I really enjoyed tonight. I'm looking forward to next week. I think next week is going to be really fun with the amount of RP that's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be a different kind of an RP. Parties are really interesting, and rituals are also really interesting. So, the next place you're going to see me is here. And I don't have any more information about the comeback to streaming yet. I'll have more information next week, but I do have to delay it because I think I said next weekend would be the time that it would be, but it'd be a couple weeks. So I'll have more details next weekend. So
that's right.
Thanks, and I'll see you guys next week.
Our next session was scheduled.
I was just about to say that. So we're gonna have 3
When
weeks in a row.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Oh. Let's just play weekly at this point,
go.
guys. I mean, what do you say?
That is pretty awesome, chat. 3 weeks in a row for Expedition.
That is the dream.
And then there'll be a break of a few weeks before we get April 20th. But yeah, April 6th.
We should do like a special event, or like a special. I don't know, like. It feels so strange.
Like a wine party for initiations?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I don't know, or a giveaway. I have, you know what? I'll commit to that. Let's talk after, Arv. I have, I subscribe to Humble Choice, which gives out free games to me every month. And I have a bunch of codes that I've just been sitting on, so I'll give away some stuff just to make it like a cool,
why not,
extra thing. Yeah.
Absolutely, because the 6th and the 20th will lead us up to, as you all know, May is ArvCon. So May will actually be, that'll be like a big, epic thing in several ways. So yes, excellent. I'm excited for it. Cool. Wonderful work tonight. Cannot wait for the party next week then. Chat, can we get some love? Oh, and also, since Johnny was here, I mentioned before, soon Johnny's character art and everything will be done with Hannah. They're talking right now. So soon, chat, you're going to get the chance to get some swag for this very campaign. Swag with shirts and pictures and the whole bit. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing players? Thank you so much to the wonderful crew of Expedition of the Mysterious Peaks. Thank you to Johnny, to Toya, to Kat, and to Zach. Players, I'll see you next week for a party, y'all.
Heck yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. And that is going to do it for us for tonight. What a fun session. And in the middle of all that, the Yukon women also won. So the Yukon women are on to the Elite Eight, beating Duke, and the Yukon men are on to the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. So go Huskies. Clearly this worked. Obviously this is what we need to have happen. So everything is good. It's all coming up Millhouse. But this was a really, really fun session for me to GM. Really enjoyed that. And I think a lot of that is just because these players really, you can tell that there's sort of a growing chemistry with them. And you can tell that with that chemistry also is part of this exploration of the world. Every campaign has its own thing. Eberron is itself a little more unusual than D&D proper. So that campaign with Jen and John and all that crew, that campaign is interesting because there were some different variants on things, but it's a little more traditional fantasy even than this would be. And that group is amazing and great, a lot of veteran players and so on. This crew also has a group of a good mixture of players with varying level of experience, but also has this extra world to explore, which is unusual and striking. And so that adds even a different dimension, I think, to this too. So I'm very excited, especially because Expedition around the late last year, early this year, there were a lot of schedule conflicts. So we were having to do once a month or even a little less. And now we have 3 consecutive weeks, like my cup runneth over. I am super glad about that. So there's going to be more Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks coming soon. And I want to thank all of you, because I know some of you show up for this and for everything, but some of you do come because you just really happen to like Expedition, and I'm glad. It's going to get even crazier. If you think that the party itself is no, so much cool stuff happening down the line that you're going to want to be here for. So great stuff from the party and wonderful work from chat tonight. So that is going to do it for us, and that's also going to do it for the month of March. Great month that it was, and it's going to be a great month of April to come. We are going to have a lot of tabletop play in the ways that I've already described, and we're going to have more Eberron. We're going to have Ghosts of Saltmarsh and Talisman Adventures, and there will be also an announcement this coming month at some point about Saltmarsh that you will not want to miss. It's going to be cool. You will definitely not want to miss that. But so there's that. And then we're going to have, of course, we think we're going to have a D&D with viewers this coming month. I have to check the schedule, but I think that's right. We will have a lot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We will have some Beowulf. We will have some Gamebook illustration. We'll have the Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month. We'll have all of that good stuff. So you'll want to be here with us for all of it. If you liked what you saw and heard tonight, please make sure to follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Oh yes, no, I'll come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. Well, I mean, I'll say it now. I was going to come back to that at the end, but I'll say it now. Yes, Community D&D is this week as April gets underway. On Wednesday, we will have Community D&D, and we will have a return. I think it's like day 5, Drew, or day 6, something like that, of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So you'll definitely want to be here for that. That has been a lot of fun too, with the Shadow Crew. So that's happening Wednesday evening. But yeah, so please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube. Those of you who are over watching on YouTube, thank you. !ArvTube for that. Please sub to me on that channel. The numbers are continued. I think that's right. The numbers have continued to go up. So please, in subscriber numbers, we're at a new record right now. So please subscribe. It's free to do that, and you can get access to the notifications about when new videos are posted, which is quite a bit over on that channel. So please do that. Please, if you haven't already done so, check out our Discord. Please join us over there. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. That's !ArvCord. !ArvTweets is the Twitter. !ArvSky is our Blue Sky. Website, arvaneleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop. As I said, new merchandise coming soon. We're looking at new merchandise specifically for community, for Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks, so you will not want to miss that. And then we have other stuff for Eberron and for Shire Adventures and all that kind of thing. So you can find all of that at that spot. Also, besides the shop, !ArvTreon. Thank you, Prince Justin. I think I said hi to you also before, Prince Justin, but if I did not do that in the middle of things, I apologize. But of course, hi, and congratulations to Prince Justin for being a Hugo nominee the way he should have been a Hugo nominee last year, but he definitely is a Hugo nominee this freaking year. So congratulations again to Prince Justin for the Hugo nom, which is much well deserved. !ArvTreon. That's the Patreon, which again, we're trying to get that number back into triple digits. So please consider supporting. You can get cool stuff there, including inspirations to help our players. You can do the same thing if you subscribe to the channel as well. You can get custom sub badges. Hey, Mrs. Dunsel. And sub badges and emotes and things like that to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. You can do that as well. You can also also, of course, check out and support us by subscribing. You can also support us on the publishing side, Exclamation Point Icarus. That's my award-winning graphic novel from Mathis Arts. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes, my, I believe it's silver seller. I think it's a silver seller on DriveThruRPG. That is almost sold out, Tales and Tomes, by the way, in print form. So if you want it in print form, now's the time to go get it. That's my 5e adventure and source book from Alligator Alley Entertainment, which are the sponsors of this very campaign. And speaking of them, they are also part of Greyshade, Exclamation Point Greyshade. That is my Greyshade IP. Greyshade and Renegade are the first 2 books in the Grey Assassin trilogy, critically acclaimed and award-winning, brought to you by Athos Arts, and again edited by the amazing Emily Bell. Also the audiobook of Greyshade done by our very own Trent Sparks, you can find there too. So that is for the Greyshade stuff there. But also you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade coming out from Alligator Alley Entertainment and designed by the amazing Brandon O'Brien. That'll be out late this year. And you can also pre-order Heretic, which is the final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy. The final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy, which is going to be out in July, again edited by Emily Bell. Very excited about that book and that trilogy. I am very proud of it. I worked hard on it. I think it's come out very well. And I'm excited not only to talk to people about that 3rd book, but about the series as a whole. So that's coming out in the summer, and you can pre-order. And as Prince Justin, multiple Hugo nominee, always says, the pre-orders are love, pre-orders are life. So you should definitely support us that way. Last but certainly not least, Exclamation Point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation Point Help Now, that's the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Exclamation Point Ukraine, that is UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against the illegal and illegitimate war. They are doing so with bravery and courage, but this way you can send the message that you can do so for others in that situation in the future as well. We are going to do a raid today because we do have some people here and it's not super late comparatively. If you are not a sub, you're going to do this when you're brought over automatically. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid, lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. And you can also do this if you are a sub. Arvany Hype, the Arvanauts have landed, Twitch raid, and then you got Arvany Roar, Arvany Woe, Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany Blown, Arvany Yay, Arvany Ha, Arvany Crit Hit, Arvany Yukon Huskies. No, I just made that one up. All the Arvanys, so definitely do that. Oh yeah, Kilobyte was always kind. Our poor departed friend Kilobyte, who will have been gone, I think. Is it 3 years this year? My goodness, how time flies. But yeah. Anyway, so yes, please stay around and stick around for the raid. Thank you to my wonderful mods. Thank you to Dragon Spear, Drew the Damager, Emily the Invincible, Hillness, Prince Justin, Triffity Mats, the best in the business. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and subscribers. I'm thinking about it, Prince Justin. Thank you all to my Patreon supporters and subscribers. Thank you to Dragon, Drew, Emily, Hillness, Prince Justin, Triffid, Mrs. Dunsel, and Tim Coolish, of course. And thank you so much to my viewers. Thank you to 8 Row. Thank you to Cat Rambo, Crit Twitch. What's up, Crit Twitch? Thank you to Dank Freeze. Thank you to Darkstill Spork, Don Oryx. Thank you to Jagtris, to Mark, Mr. Jonas, Regress, and of course, Video Store Cowboy. Special thanks to Alligator Alley Entertainment, and very special thanks to my players for tonight. Thank you to Johnny. Thank you to Toya. Thank you to Kat, and thank you to Zach. I appreciate that, Tim. Stick around for the raid, everybody. We will do that right after the video has played, and then I will see you folks in the month of April on Tuesday for something awesome coming up on Tuesday afternoon at noon Eastern. Until then, everyone, as I always say, please be good to each other and go Huskies. Have a good night. Talk to you folks soon. Bye-bye.